All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to a new video, a new Raph report as the patchologist is in here. My Raphnalysis begins of the Guilty Gear Strive Big 2.0 patch as we're going to go over the patch notes that were released on June 8th. It is June 9th. We have 1 day away from the big patch, so this is going to be just examining the notes that Arxis has dropped off to us, comparing things to what they were before and kind of thinking of them in the grand scheme of things, how they will affect, how the system mechanics will affect characters, how the characters' changes will affect their game plan, as well as how things potentially can be, and just considering like how overall stronger or weaker they can be. But realistically, it's just looking at the changes as they are and what that truly means to the characters here in Strive. So, anyway, I am Raph, aka RaphTx, and I've been a Guilty Gear commentator and player since 2005 with Reload into Guilty Gear Slash, and then Accent Core, and then Exert, and all that fun stuff. Here we are at Strive. You see me commentating many major events, and I hope to make many more. You can check my commentary reel on my YouTube channel if you'd like to see what I got in store, and if you'd like to hire me for your event, you can let me know at RaphTx on Twitter, or you can email me at my email that is on my Twitter. Anyway, let us examine and take a good look at this list. We have it set up right in front of us, so I hope you enjoy a fun little breakdown of our big 2.0 patch. We are at 2.0, starting the 10th, from 109 to 2.0, where there's 91 versions we're skipping to go directly into the big bad. To begin Season 2, as Guilty Gear Strive kicks off a new year and new adventures, starting at CEO, the next big tournament, to feature Guilty Gear Strive, and then EVO, which will be full of surprises. I'm excited for that, especially one of the first real international competitions. So let's take a look at our notes, starting with the Universal Mechanics. And I like the patch notes. I mean, they give some idea of what the changes are meant to do, and we'll break it down a little bit from there. So, roaming cancels, it's a big one. And luckily, the Arxis Twitter has been showing off bits and pieces of these changes. So they have been showcasing some of the stuff to look at and give you kind of like the patch sneak peek, which people will be up at 5 a.m. in the morning, grinding the game out, showcasing all the new tech. So be on Twitter if you want to see all that's new and good. Guilty Gear Strive. Also check out Super Ninja channel on Twitch, as well as Sajam, SQ, Ramola, and many more amazing Guilty Gear streamers, Hitachi, Fame, what have you, to see all the new and fun stuff that's going to be coming down the pipelines. There are many amazing streamers for Guilty Gear Strive, so make sure you please check them out and check out how well they handle the characters and learning the new stuff that's got going on. So, roaming cancels. This is the fun one. You cancel into a normal special move from roaming cancel. It triggers a slowdown effect and limits detention gauge cost. So if you just do a roaming cancel and let the bubble play out, when you RC, bubble comes out, bubble hits a person, you have some effect on there for red RC, it'll use up all of your all 50% of that tension. All that meter will go away, but then you'll get like the hit that'll float and you get the combo, right? If you do an attack before the bubble comes out, so if you do RC, boom, RC 3 buttons into an attack immediately, then you will get some tension still. So it will use like not all 50%, but like 45 to 40% of it. You will get some meter retained. So if you do quick cancels with RC, you will keep the bar. So it's going to make offense a little bit stronger. You'll still get the meter penalty from using a roaming cancel. There is a tension penalty when you do roaming cancels or anything that involves meter, that you don't get to build it up as fast outside of positive bonus. So, but that's where it comes into. Positive bonus. Positive bonus, a very strong tool for breaking the wall in Guilty Gear Strive. You get a huge meter gain, and bundled that with the new RC and keeping the tension, it's going to make offense from getting positive bonus even more fluid and stronger, because you're going to retain some meter as you keep gaining it so much faster. So look at that for when people are managing their bar and their tension to really get their offense moving good. Next change on counter hits for certain moves. Standing punch and crouching kick will trigger a slowdown effect on counter hit, which makes it so you can get a link that you wouldn't be able to get normally. So a lot of times you can get like a crouching punch counter hit into like a 2D or a close slash or something of that nature. So experiment with your characters because it opens up a world of possibilities for doing just light frame traps. It incentivizes the use of crouching punches and crouching kicks more so than you would use before, especially in a plus frame scenario because your reward is going to be much higher for a counter hit, where it's not just a full counter, a big screen shake, all that, etc. So that changes up the game a lot too when you're playing at the close range and makes a lot more value to the few specials that leave your character at advantage. Such as like Kai's 6K, Giovanna's Travau, and other such things, right? And they're still looking at how Faultless Defense can get stronger and maybe change it to be more effective or just like maybe meter game, but they really just said, hey, you know what we're going to do? We're going to make it so there's an FD button. We don't want you dashing and then pressing 2 buttons and screwing something up. We're going to give you an FD button. That's nice, more macros. So you have a dash button, an FD button, no reason not to use them. I encourage you to use the macros for FD and dash. They will make your Guilty Gear Strive life so much easier. Revised input mechanism. So moves with the same input for ground and aerial versions. Let's see. They're measured to make the usage of ground and aerial versions distinct for some characters when a special move was input as it jump started. The aerial version will come out at low height, mid-air if an upwards direction was input. This resulted in strict input requirements, so we have made the grounded versions activate even when an upwards input is included. So it won't automatically make you go airborne for a special move if you press up during it, because no one's perfect, especially on a stick or a pad, and you might accidentally press up when you're going for a motion. So you'll kick to the grounded version and not overextend, which will be a lot nicer to a lot of people. And that'll make it so you won't get like the ground tatami or certain things like that. Or in case of Axl, who now has a new input for Axl Bomber, it won't give you, well, it'll be more consistent, I think, when you get the jump and airborne version. And then you also have input priority for quarter circle forward, or 6-2-3 or 2-3-6 for special moves. So that's the priority for that when you go for it. And then when an input simultaneously includes 2-3-6 and 6-2-3, or 6-2-3 is prioritized. So if your motion has both like 6-2-3-6, you'll get the 6-2-3 and not the 2-3-6. But if you do a 4-1-2-3-6 half circle forward, you will get a 2-3-6 instead of the 6-2-3. So you have to be a little cleaner, but it makes inputs look like a little bit easier to manage. Special move canceling into overdrives before coming out. This change, although it has several purposes, is mainly intended to make it easier to perform overdrives where part of the input is the same as a special move. So when you have, Faust, like I mentioned in there, his item toss and his super item toss, are like, same motion, except the super version's 2 of them, right? So it looks like they made it, you can, if you input it and you get the special move by accident, but you finish the motion for the super, you'll get the super instead. So it'll cancel the beginning, like light animation, just to be lenient, so you don't accidentally get the wrong special instead of the super. So that's kind of nice. So that does help characters like Faust, or it's hard to say who else really benefits from that. Like that's like the immediate one, because most everyone's like a half circle forward punch super. I mean, maybe like Happy Chaos, but I don't know. I don't remember off the top of my head. Under certain conditions, input for crouching normals to command normal will not be prioritized over standing normals. For example, when you do crouching S during hit stop of close standing S, if you release down too quickly, far standing S would come out. So that helps characters that go into close slash, down slash. So characters like Soul, if you don't want to accidentally do far slash, you want to do cross slash, which I don't know why you wouldn't want to use far slash because it's really good. But, I get an idea there. You can be more consistent with the normals that you're putting out there. So again, just a lot of good input changes to make it cleaner and not really penalize you for making like light mistakes, which is always nice. As many characters have less utility from their jumping P compared to their other aerial attacks. We've adjusted the blowback effect on hit, making it easier to convert into a combo. So it basically gives you more benefit for characters like Ramlethal or Giovanna or anyone that uses a jump P as an air-to-air. So you see a lot of Ramlethal players do jump P. Slap, 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 slap. And it was usually just jump P times like 3 or 4, land and get some pressure going. Now she's going to get a combo off of it. Now she's going to be able to do jump P and get a hit and then just confirm that into... She'll be able to confirm that into more. So that's really nice, especially characters that have air specials can be really good, but I feel like this is going to be a good way to lean into other air normals on landing. So it could be really beneficial for a character like Giovanna, who has really good air buttons besides like outside her jump slash and jump heavy and jump dust are really, really good, so that might be nice for that. Axl doesn't really help too much, but like a lot of characters again have like rapid fire jump Ps, so we'll see how well that fixes up things. I'm excited to do that kind of change. Looks really good on paper. And then dash cancels. This is a huge one. This is something that Giovanna has and Soul has, where you will do a close normal, stand K, or close stand slash, and you can dash cancel it. Now, any character outside of Nagoriyuki who doesn't have a dash, he has Fukio, and Potemkin, who doesn't have any dashes at all, best of back dash, right? They can, any other character besides them can dash cancel those close normals. So it adds an extra layer to it, and it makes it so characters can be a little bit scarier when they dash cancel a normal into a special move, or into more pressure, or into maybe like a counter hit confirm, or an anti-air. It has adds a lot to the offense. Especially because the fact of when you dash cancel a normal, because you're in the dash animation, and not in a normal animation, you get a blue RC, and that lets you mix up with a button and gives you really heavy frame advantage if you do it right. So that was something that they showed off, was the Kai close slash dash cancel BRC into a crash and kick, into a full combo from that, which is really nice. So it's just something to consider. It is going to just open up a lot of offense, especially characters like Ramlethal have a great close slash. Giovanna already did this, so that doesn't really change too much. I think Eddie's going to be a little bit scarier because Zato 1 is going to be really scared with this, because you do close slash into dash cancel with Eddie behind you. That sounds frightening, absolutely frightening. So like characters like him, or even like Goldlewis, who can set up the drone and then do maybe like a close slash dash cancel, the drone's still chasing behind you, and now Ghost Lewis. Goldlewis is just amplifying that pressure, especially from like his really good like 5K. It's going to be interesting to kind of see how that plays out. I'm excited to see people really utilize that in their offensive pressure more, because of just how potentially powerful that is. And then some moves have their damage lowered, and that's something that they mentioned overall. Overdrives that work well as counterattacks, they've been changed where their startup is a little slower, have more recovery. And so with their damage is unchanged, but it's easier to punish on block, and that's something that they note in the patch notes. Okay. Sorry, just checking the social medias. Okay, so we're going to look at, that was the explanation of it. Now we can look at the whole thing here. So Roman cancel, like I mentioned, if you normal special move, you got a slowdown effect. So you can it'll open up the ability to, and this is off, on your Roman cancel. It'll give you a small slowdown, so you're able to kind of see what's going on, as well as going to allow you for a little bit of a confirm afterwards. The slowdown effect is only triggered when in close proximity to the opponent, so you cannot do Roman cancel to get a slowdown like Y or C at full screen. You only get to do it when you're at close proximity. And of course it mentions yellow Roman cancel is not affected by that, since yellow Roman cancel is always going to use 50% tension. Blue Roman cancel, making the cancel timing for canceling to a normal or special move faster, so you have to be a little bit quicker about doing blue RC button. So that just makes it so you have to do it faster, which it just speeds up the game a little bit. And then you also have that same thing with PRC. The slowdown effect from Purple Roman Cancel now ends when an attack lands. So that's usually the longest slowdown of the Purple Roman Cancel, but now it makes it so it's dependent on the button you use after, and then you lose that slowdown once you hit that attack. So, I mean, that just makes it weakening PRC just a little bit, because PRC could be very strong, especially because you're late canceling a lot of things. Red RC, and you no longer scale when the shock hits. So it used to do some damage scaling, but now you, like, especially off like a throw, you won't get as much damage, or like a special normal. Now if that shockwave hits, you are guaranteed regular damage, which is really nice. So that's going to make damage a little bit higher and reward characters more, because a lot of characters relied on RC for damage, but this scaling just made it a lot weaker, so you didn't really get as much value out of it. Especially because other characters had such strong special moves, or could just do rapid cancel RCs and get a lot of value off of it. But now it makes it so people, off things that you can normally red RC and get benefit from, you get more damage, which is really nice. Blue Psych Burst. So when the player inputs the Blue Psych Burst, so regular, that's the blue burst. If you try to burst out before the opponent's overdrive, the Psych Burst activation will no longer be canceled. So if you do a burst, you'll be able to burst through an overdrive if they time the overdrive after you do your burst. So that can get you out of dodge, because usually it locks you out and then you get screwed over. Your burst doesn't come out and you're just like, well, that sucks. Then burst overall, fix a bug with activation will be delayed in certain circumstances, so it's always the same timing from here on out. And the higher are you up, you don't go higher when you burst. So if you are in a combo, say like from May or Ramlethal, who are known to have really strong unburstable combos, you have a minimum height. You have a maximum height you can go that will make it easier to burst out of these really hard to get out situations, because there's so many unburstable combos, especially against, mostly Ramlethal is like the big one of it. Happy Chaos is kind of like the same way. Nagoriyuki has a bit of that in as well. So a lot of the good characters, even like Leo, all of these really good characters have really good burst safe combos. So this is going to make it so it's going to be a little easier to burst out. There'll still be burst safe combos, but at the very least, the burst is going to hit lower, and you have more points that you can escape a situation, instead of just, oh, I'm screwed over, I'm dead, that sucks, right? Which is good. When inputting a dash button, inputting back directly after the action begins, no longer performs a backdash. So that's going to make it so you don't accidentally backdash when you are doing dash back to block. Because that was one thing, right? You would press a dash button, which is basically tap tap. If you press back to block, dash cancel, especially a character like Leo or Giovanna, you might do it too fast and get a backdash by accident. So you will not get a backdash unless you truly hold back and press it. If you dash, neutral dash or forward dash and then press back, you're fine, which I like that. Because again, the dash macro is essentially just it telling the game forward as fast as possible. But if you press back, then you're getting it's basically translating, oh, you wanted to do a backdash, not a forward dash. So it basically would hold the input of the forward dash, of the dash, and then apply one of those dashes. One of those instead of forward, it'd be like forward back, and then your own back would do it, and then oops, you messed up. So that's a good trade. That makes dashing and dash blocking a lot better. Input priority during hit stop, move that requires a down input such as crouching normals, that moves that require a forward input such as command normals, that prioritize over standing normals and jumping normals. So when you're in a combo in a situation that you're getting hits, you won't accidentally get a neutral button. If you press forward on a button attack and then let go of the stick, it won't give you the neutral one. It'll be a little more lenient, which is nice. And then you also know, depending on the current movement speed of an attacking character, the launch and blow back the opponent on hit now change. So that's when you're jumping, and how if you're doing a dash jump, it changes how the opponents hit when you get them. The change applies to jumping normal was not previously impacted by the above mechanic. So this is just getting all kind of normals universal to that, which is nice. What else we got? Special moves. We talked about the special moves can be canceled in the overdrive before they come out, so that's for overlapping inputs. You don't accidentally get a special move when your super overdrive has that motion involved in it, which is really nice. Faultless defense, you have the faultless defense button, and when blocking attacks, you use up less tension gauge, so it's you'll have more meter saved for when you FD, which will be really useful, especially against characters like Nagoriyuki, who has really good chip situations after getting a blood-sucking universe or hitting a super, as well as against characters like Happy Chaos that can put really good pressure strings with chip damage on against it. And especially like Giovanna. Giovanna is now going to have the ability to do more chip, and that's going to help push her out because she has a lot of good tools to stay in and get more chip because of a buff we're going to talk about a little bit later. Wall stick with a super flash and certain overdrives, the wall stick effect will now be prioritized. So when a wall stick initiates simultaneously with the super flash, you will get a wall stick guaranteed. I don't know if that affects the damage or not. I'm not too sure about that change. I think the bug where the variation of distance between the characters at the wall break sort of depending on conditions of the stage when a wall break was triggered by an overdrive. So now it's consistent across all stages that sometimes you get a wall break and then you when you go back to second neutral, it'll be a different distance, either farther or closer. Now it's all going to be the same where it's supposed to go. Throws fix the bug where risk level would deplete more than intended when activating Roman cancel during the throw in certain conditions. So normally when you get a throw, it reduces the risk gauge, so you don't get really big counter hits. But it seemed that you were getting more risk gauge depleted if you RC'd because the RC counter does a hit. So now that made that adjustment, fixed that little bug. We already talked about all the standing and crouching punches and kicks have a slowdown effect on counter hit, even the jump ones. So you get a better combo sequence on hit, on counter hit. So it really rewards, like especially using light pressure when an opponent has bursts, you don't get gold bursts, as well as when you're doing frame traps. So it's going to apply more combos, and players are going to have to train themselves to recognize when they get counter hits with lights. And usually sequences is going to reward going for like close punch into close slash. Because one, you have a very low risk normal like a close punch, but then the speed of a close slash is usually pretty quick, and close punches are typically advantage. So now it'll be a guard string, but also be a confirm if they get counter hit. If they get regular hit and you go into it, well, then you're just doing a guard string, but it pays to pay attention, right? So always keep an eye on like if you're getting counter hits or not. We talked about standing kick can be dash canceled. Now it launches opponent less than previously when used multiple times in the same combo. So you can't just do like 5k with characters like Nagoriyuki, anyone that uses it in a juggle because it's a fast move. They can't just be like, or like Ramlethal, who uses like 5k in a lot of her sequences. So it's going to launch a little less higher, and I think that's going to change some combo routes because there's going to be more gravity applied to characters. Close standing slash is the same way. Dash cancelable, but also you can't just change close slashes, aka Nagoriyuki, where it's going to make it so you get less of them in a row, because the more you do, the farther they go down. A lot of characters like Mei, Nagoriyuki, Ramlethal, that got these really good like close slash, etc. It makes that not as good. We'll see how effective that is. I'm excited to see that in the patch. That's one big change that could affect a lot of combos and reduce damage because it's going to be less consistent for these like big close slash combos. It'll make strike throw a little weaker in the sense of just doing less damage. And then just the size of some hurt boxes while taking damage. Mid-damage hurt boxes were more difficult than others to hit during combos have been expanded. Okay, so they just made it so you get better. You can get more consistent combos. Things don't shrink when you hit them as much. And okay, let me take a sip. That's a good stopping point for a second here, so I can just refresh. But that is the power. That is the power of the system changes. So again, that affects a lot of characters in a lot of ways, with the counter hit confirms off light buttons, with the dash cancelable normals, but again also the extra gravity on the close slashing and stand kick as well. So a lot of those little things, it changes the dynamic of the game a lot, because again, it's going to weaken some combos. It's going to make more pressure, as well as with like the bursts, which is going to be nice for getting out of more burst safe stuff, as well as the fact of just, again, like I mentioned, the RC changes. It's going to keep people are going to have more meter, with FD taking away less and RC into attack keeping your meter there. So it's really cool. I like that fact of just having more bar all around. Helps a lot of characters out. Helps the strong characters, obviously, but how strong are they? We'll find out as we take a look at the character notes. Okay, first thing to know, these balance changes, it is quality of life for most characters but it's also buffs for a lot of characters, and it's basically buffs that really accentuate their game plans, which have been basically refined over the year. Every kind of character that's been really strong basically has a specific game plan that suits their strength a lot, and the changes kind of, again, just accent that, but they also address a lot of these really powerful specials and normals that are a little egregious, a little more powerful, so they tone some down. So we'll get a look at that, starting with Soul Badguy. So, I think they go over basic balance intentions, which is just like light stuff. Here's like, okay, Soul now has more from lows. His crouching dust, his sweep, has a better hitbox. So it increased the range of it, so it's a better footsie tool, and when you get a counter, you're going to get a better confirm off it. But it also benefits because you get less, when you land a 2K, so when you land his 2K, which is a nice low attack, they get pushed back less, and you can combo into 2D more consistent. So the threat of the low is a lot better, because there was not really too much of a threat of a low. From Soul Badguy, he might get you with a 2K, but at certain ranges, there'll be no reward from it. So now it's a consistent reward that he'll be able to get from that, and it just enables a better low attack, which is something that he needs. Honestly, that's a big quality of life, because it was just like, I'm just going to use, close slash, or far slash over and over again. Knock, 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 knock. Run up 5K, 6K, 6H, or sorry, 6 slash, something like that. Speaking of 5K, Stan K is now going to put you on less block stun. It's also going to have more scaling. It doesn't build up as much risk on guard, and your blowback scaling, so people get knocked farther back when you use it as a starter. So they just kind of really weakened 5K, because it is a 3-frame normal that can be an anti-air, can be a quick hit up close, and you can get some solid damage off of it because of just the speed of it. So now it's just going to make it so that, hey, we know this normal is like the go-to normal. We don't really use Crouch Punch as Soul. We use 5K as Soul because it's so fast. You're going to get less damage off the starter from it. It makes sense. We already talked about the Crouching K, because that's going to enable Soul to get the 2K 2D more consistently. Far Standing Slash, less damage. Again, that's his popular damage starter. That just, it makes sense. This is the go-to button, extremely strong, positive on block. We want to make it so you get a hit with this, you'll get damage, but it's not going to be as egregious as it was. And typically, a lot of damage reduction too, like the forward slash, the sword swipe. That's going to get reduced damage as well. That's usually a mainstay of Soul combos, especially off of 5K. So you were getting less damage as a whole with Soul, which was his big thing. But again, it was just like, oh, I got like one hit. That's half your life off of a simple counter hit. Doesn't feel good, but that's how it goes. Forward heavy slash, more recovery on it. As strong as 6 heavy slash is, yeah, it's gonna make it easier to punish, because that was like for how hard it hits and it grounding an opponent on hit. Making it easier to punish is gonna be nice. But also has a better hitbox upwards, so it can do a little bit more, and with less knockback, Soul will stay closer when he does it, which is nice. So a little quality of life to it, but just making it easier to punish if you're using it as just like a tool without any meter behind it. Sweep. So, a big footsie tool at other games. Like Soul's 2D was like the go-to button in Exeter. That button was just wild. You got a counter hit, you just go party time into big damage. But now it's going to be a little bit better, but also something that you can whiff punish, because of it. It's going to reach farther, but his hurt box goes farther, so you can catch him. Jump P. This is a universal change where you launch his opponent higher, and they get knocked back less. So they get knocked back less in the air, so you get better air combos, which will probably be like Jump P, P slash, heavy slash, or something like that. Especially because of the fact that you can air dash cancel, jump slash, and heavy slash. So it's going to give more corner carry. And honestly, again, it just makes air-to-air buttons really good. Jump dust doesn't hit as far. And you get less. You can use jump D more in combos, because you get less wall break. So you can do more dust loop, which would be nice. Ground throw, you won't get as better Oki, and that's kind of a thing we see a lot in characters, is their throws, they'll have less chance to set up afterwards, and you see this across a lot of characters just because, throw is so strong, that fast it is, and it sets up a lot of characters with a really good safe jump into pressure afterwards. So they took that away from Soul. Gunflame Feint, decreased recovery, so it's a lot faster. If you cancel into Gunflame, the Gunflame frames on the feint, you can use that better in sequences and pressure to reset your pressure, or if you got to confirm into a knockdown, you just do it to, reduce the recovery even more so and continue pressure on, which is nice. What else we got? So now we got some special moves. Volcanic Viper is an interesting one. So they made it so in a standing position on landing rather than crouching. So you do not get a crouch combo on him. He's going to be standing. So I think it's going to be a little less damage after a block. But there's a hitbox directly after descent begins, and the hitbox now remains throughout. So there's going to be a bigger hitbox on there and make it a little bit better of a tool. And they expanded the hitbox during the ascent and reduced the hurtbox, so it's going to be a little bit harder to stuff when they do it as a reversal and they read it situation correctly. But you can no longer Roman cancel when an opponent's gold psych burst is active. That's kind of a funky thing. I think that was just the fact that if you DP'd someone's gold burst, you can RC. And then when blocked in midair, you can actually get... Now, this is the big change. And this is a change that you see across a lot of characters. This is a thing to basically reward opponents who basically jump and block these specials accordingly, these supers accordingly. That you will land faster, which makes it so you'll get pretty much guaranteed a punish. Whereas when you used to air block Volcanic Viper, Eisensturm, Ramlethal Super, you would not be able to punish them on landing, and they'd be A-okay. So just make it so, okay, cool, you read the situation right, you blocked a reversal in the air, too bad. Less startup on Aerial Bandit Bringer, so it's going to be a better dive kick. Night Ray Vortex, when you charge it, is going to launch the opponent higher. So it's going to be you get more reward off landing that. That's a game that's very punishable, but it's so fast, it goes low, and those profiles thing, that could be very strong. So I'm interested to see how that works. And it's going to be a better tool to call people out for doing things. So that's going to be very scary. And then reduce lower hitbox, you can low profile Fafnir, essentially. And that's going to reward characters like Faust or Axl, I think. Any character that has like a low attack, they get just crouched super low. I think Faust is going to beat Soul this patch, possibly, because of just being able to escape pressure and just having that extra range will be a big part of it. We'll see. And then lastly, Tyrant Rave, more startups, so it's less valuable as a reversal, and more recovery, so it's easier to punish, which was very difficult because of how much push block, and most characters not being that fast wouldn't really get so much of a punish on it. So that is Soul. Again, Soul is still a mid-range rushdown character. Damage is going to be a little shorter across the board, which is understandable, but the power of skipping neutral with Night Raid Vortex can be really strong and lead to a lot of damage. Aerial Bandit Bringer is going to give him the hang time and a bit faster, so it's going to be a strong tool to beat people's anti-airs as well as to catch them pressing buttons in neutral close by. It's going to get punishes on it just being faster. And then the Gunflame Feint is going to be really good, I think. It's going to be a great tool, depending on if it's fast enough to just be spooky in pressure where you attack the mental stack in the game and you can use it effectively to catch people off guard and basically continue your pressure from that. And then, of course, 2D is just great. Speaking of low profiles against Fafnir, that is one of the best. It's always been one of the best low profile moves in Guilty Gear. So I think that's not going to change at all. And I think Soul is going to be really spooky with the better buttons like that. The damage being less takes away from him a bit, but I think as a whole, this just leaves him in the same spot that he's in. You just weakened the tools that he has that leads to that really good and easy damage. Like the 5K or the 6/, which are great buttons. Great buttons. All right, now the King Kai. So this is a fun one, and this is one that I have to check something honestly because I don't know this one move, and that's my own fault. So I want to check something in the wiki on Dust Loop while I, before I dive into him. I should have music going on, shouldn't I? That might make things a little more entertaining. Let me put on a tune or a track or two. I think some Guilty Gear music would be appropriate, right? All right, there we go. Okay, cool. That hopefully doesn't influence everything too much. I'm going to turn it down just a smidge. There we go. Da-na-na. Magnolia Eclair. Ooh, so I was looking at Dire Claw. That is the giant slap slash. Okay, that's now I know that better. Give me less of a dingus. Alright, so Kai. The recovery of Dire Claw has been decreased, making it easier to buffer after normal moves. It's now easier to follow up while in the corner. So this was like this is a special move that brand new to Strive. Pretty unsafe against certain characters like Ramlethal, but it was a thing that you can hit in the corner and get extra damage on certain combos, but it was inconsistent depending on the height of the opponent. But now with less recovery, we'll talk about that when we get to it, but it's going to be basically allow Kai, especially in shock state, to get more damage. They've updated Stun Edge basically to make it a little better, and you can do it more consistently, as well as Aerial Stun Edge has less recovery, so if you run it or Stun Edge, Kai is going to have some recovery, but not as bad as it was, where he basically would just land in a crouch state and be easily punishable. So it makes it so doing Air Stun Edge is going to be more reliable, and Kai's can zone out a little further, which is going to be frustrating for a lot of people. And then, of course, Dragon Install, that's a huge one. It now has less recovery on a hit, and Kai is faster afterwards. So you can set up Oki a lot better afterwards, and Kai's going to be really scary when he activates Dragon Install. So like Soul, Crouching K has decreased knockback, so on counter hit you'll get better confirms. So basically counter hit 2k 5 slash, or just 2k 2d will be very consistent, which it already was, but this basically just makes it so 2k counter hit confirms will be much stronger because close slash will activate more consistently because of less knockback. So it's a really strong tool, and already Kai is very good at getting up close on knockdowns and putting pressure, but that's going to be a fast normal to use to set up these counter hit confirms, so that's really scary. 6k can be special cancel, which is again a special move. Special normal that Kai has, that he steps forward with a kick, he does a big swing kick, and it's plus frames, but now you can basically, I got a hit, I can cancel into a special just to get a guaranteed hit off of it if I recognize that it was the case. Less recovery on close slash. Again, that's scary because it's positive, right? So you're gonna get more pressure afterwards. So that's already a great move. They're making it more in line with other close slashes like Nagoriyuki's and Ramlethal's, etc. Crouching slash, reduced frontal hurt box, so you won't get hit as bad trying to counter poke people with crouch slash. Where you have good like low normal, so that's always nice, especially with far standing slash, less punishable, so just better pokes. It enhances his mid range, so it's gonna be a lot stronger, like probably comparable to what it was like in Exerd, where he can just kind of poke at a safer distance and just doesn't die to a 6p from a mile away. The jumping P, jumping K, those changes were kind of universal. Jumping S, less of a hurt box, so not gonna be as anti-airable, but probably nothing too crazy. And then if you hit a jumping heavy slash, opponent goes higher, so you get a better follow-up off of jumping heavy slash. Jump dust, this is a cool part. So you can air dash cancel and jump jump dust. So that was just him putting up the seal. That was a way of just like hovering over the air just a little bit longer, which could bait out throws or be a really good meaty. But now being able to either confirm off it with an air dash or jump cancel it to kind of stay above an opponent and really mix up pressure. Now that you'll have stun edge above them, or you'll be able to land with a normal. It makes his jumping game a little trickier. It launches the opponent on grounded hit. So if they're landing, you get hit, you get a launch up, and you'll be able to get a better confirm off it, which is really nice for him. And it can now be canceled to finishing blow during homing jump. So basically, let me get more of this. So now when you land that in a dust combo, you can actually do the knockdown afterwards. So you usually weren't able to use that in dust launches. So that just again just enhance the quality of life, which is really nice. Ground throw, more recovery. So I don't think you're going to be as effective as getting a throw into charge stun edge with increased horizontal blowback distance. Well, if it launches opponent lower after a grab and they go less far, you might not. I don't know. That's hard to see. I got to see how much recovery that is, but that just might nerf throw into close stun edge. Shock state, if you hit Kai, shock state goes away. That's huge because the fear of hitting Kai and trading with something, you'll still in shock state, and then Kai wins the trade. So when you trade with Kai and you're in shock state, it's not going to be as bad. Stun edge is essentially, you can do more stun edges faster, so you have better fireball game. That's going to be basically just going Hadouken, 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 and more, more Shoto-like. Speaking of charge stun edge, air stun, we've talked about that. Just again makes his air approach and his air just keep away game a little stronger and less susceptible just dying immediately. Charge stun edge, you can do them more in succession, which is going to be kind of scary. The flip, decreased attack level of additional half of active frames. So reduce recovery. So early on, you're not going to be as much block stun, which is great for the person blocking it because it's a great tool. But if you're up close, it's going to make it so that you're not going to be in as much block stun as you would be if it was just the end of it that hits. So if they do it point blank, I think you'll be able to get a punish. But if you do it later, then it's kind of still the same. But reduced recovery might change that a lot. And if you space it correctly and get away with it, you'll be at advantage. So I think that just makes Fudrark a very, very strong tool mid-range because you have to worry about the stun dipper, and that's going to let people get free Fudrarks into more pressure. Vapor Thrust, better hurt box. It's not going to be able to low profile it as much. And this is just a universal uppercut thing with you cannot RC if you DP a gold burst. But when you block midair, you get a punish on it. Again, if you jump in on an opponent like Soul or Kai, if you block their uppercut, you would land them at the same time, not get a punish. Now it's pretty much guaranteed that you're rewarded for them going a little too hard. Direct Clot, again, reduce recovery. We talked about that. That move is going to be really, really good tool off hit confirms, as well as in shock state in the corner. It's going to enable Kai to get more combos. Ride a Lightning, not as good as a reversal. So if you run up to Kai, press 2P, he does Ride the Lightning on his wake up, you're going to block. That's essentially what that means. If you go for a low commit on normal on Soul or Kai's wake up, any of these really good wake up super, it's not going to matter. But that super got weaker, oh no. What am I using my meter on? You're going to fucking use it on Dragon Install. Sorry for cursing. That's the one F word I'll get this Soul stream. So, faster. Kai finally has the speed of a dragon. Just much faster running, jump, backdashing. Like, it's gonna be crazy how fast he is. And the super itself knocks the opponent less away and has less recovery. So if you connect it, you are guaranteed Oki, because it's a hard knock. If you're guaranteed Oki, and Kai's gonna be fucking in your... Sorry, I cursed again. It's gonna be up in your grill. And Dragon Install is pretty much a guarantee now. Every Kai player is gonna work to land this super and go into Super Saiyan mode and just go ham on you. So I hope you're looking forward to Kai Kiske just every round now. Dragon Install, where it was before it was kind of like a Flash Metroid only thing. Now it's gonna be every Kai player thing. So that's Kai. Overall, a lot stronger. Better normals, better jump normals. Jump D being stronger and being a better pressure tool and mix-up tool. Really good. Stun edges being better and being able to fireball more consistently and safer, as you know, from the air or from the ground is really good. Food Arc having less recovery, making it a better pressure tool if people let you get away with it. And then just Dire Clot, whatever you want to call it, having less recovery is spooky, because again, this is just going to be Kais are going to do better combos, and the pressure is going to be much better. Again, there's no real nerfs except for Vapor Thrust, where you can just kind of block it in the air and punish it. And the ground throw nerf might be big, we have to see, but I think that's going to be the big detractor here, is just that. Alright. May Doomers be gone. May has been on the side of the milk carton for sure. She's gone missing since the last big patch, as most May players have abandoned her for other characters like Leo and then some, because of just the big nerfs, and basically just the losing a lot of the strength she had early on, where she was one of the best characters, very prominent, very powerful, and now not so much, and most people looking at the notes and saying, holy shit, she's dead. I think that's a knee-jerk reaction. Hard to say how much that is. Obviously, we haven't seen the patch and how everything plays out, but with the power of better jump normals, so she'll have better air dingers, which is always really important, but also just dash cancelable 5k and close slash. You know, she already has great tools once she's in, and that's going to be a little bit stronger there, so we'll see how that all works out. But let's look at everything all together. So faster Stampede. So it's going to be better for just up close frame traps, which is really good because her 5P is honestly super fast. So making that faster is going to be really good as a check, and because you'll see why. It's good as a check, and then you also buff the 6P. Animation the opponent character on hit. So faster 5P into 6P might let her get a better combo sequence off of it. Have to see what the animation of a character getting hit by it is, but that could be a very strong thing. And just when May gets close, Action Shift or Close Slash, be able to like do Close Slash dash cancel 5P as a frame trap, and then use 6P to go into something. I'm curious to see that, but that just enhances her up close game, because you see like reduced damage on certain things, but again, was also with the buff to 5Ps on counter hit, giving you combos. Her having a faster 5P makes it better for 5P counter hit into close slash, which is going to be really strong, I think. Because you get 5P close slash into 2 heavy, and that's going to be a lot of damage. Which I think is why they nerfed a lot of her damage down. Stand K is faster, so that's also really good. That's a great poke. It's a great button. With that's dash cancelable and cancelable into 3K, so it's going to be a much better poke tool and a better mid-range button. So because they made it faster, they've made it so 3K, her slide, now does not hard knockdown on hit. On hit, it lets the opponent recover. But so the more May being able to basically confirm more into 3K from a lot of her lighter attacks. They wanted to say, hey, let's not give a character with a really good 5K free hard knockdown into Oki at all times, which I wholeheartedly understand. They're just trying to make sure that fast 5K into 3K doesn't lead her later into a big snowball. Standing Heavy, which was buffed to be a better combo tool, and this point it's going to do less damage, and you have a bigger hurt box to recovery, so it's easier to whip punish. Crouching Heavy Slash, opponent goes lower. That is also a nerf to her burst safe combos, because you'll be able to burst her a little bit easier, and that's going to weaken her combo routes a little bit because it doesn't launch as high. So May players have to adjust their combos from that somewhat, but also just have to understand that opponents are going to get out of her combos a lot better now. Alright, where you at? Do I not have her track? I don't like this song enough that I don't have it on here? There it is. Alright. Forward heavy, decreased damage. Again, that's some big, you know, her wall game is always big. That's a big combo filler. So again, that's just reducing damage off these really big normals that typically just do much of a chunks and just let, you know, again, like Soul, her high damage, which is one of her big things, is being toned down somewhat because they figure she's going to get more opportunities to get this damage, possibly. Then you have better hitbox on her sweep, so 2K, 2E is going to be a lot more consistent, like Soul. Already a good 2D, but now just hitting those 2Ks, or just a better 5P is going to be able to combo into that, which is nice. Jumping P, we already talked about those. More recovery on her anchor drop. Again, I guess that's a nerf towards more like mid-level players and lower level, where it was like a normal that people can just like go for over and over again and just be really suppressive, where it's not really something that you see at a high level. Not that you saw a lot of amazing high level. And then finally, Mr. Dolphin, less damage, horizontal. It now goes farther when you hold the button down. So you can alter how far it goes. And now you kept momentum if you land on whiff. So if they're at a certain distance, she can keep going when she does it. So it's basically a way of just... it's not just using Mr. Dolphin in neutral is just going to make it so that she can do it better for most ranges. Granted, most players are better at stopping it because they nerfed how well it's useful as a tool for mid-range, because you can stuff it out pretty easy now. Mr. Dolphin vertical, it's really nice because it goes much farther, and movement speed now increases when buttons held down, so it does go faster too, which is nice. No longer hits opponent when more than a set distance, so it can whiff more, I guess, and reduce recovery on hit. So when you hit person, you get a better combo afterwards. So it's basically saying use up Dolphin in combos because you're gonna get more consistent juggles, because that's the Mr. Dolphin that doesn't have the damage reduction. So this is just saying up Dolphin is combo filler. That's the big thing, especially because she can air dash cancel the recovery as she's falling down with left recovery. Again, better mid-screen confirms because of Mr. Dolphin vertical. Heavy slash version, when the descending part of the attack hits, the opponent now bounces higher with decreased horizontal blowback distance. Again, allowing better follow-ups, like I mentioned earlier. If you do like crouching heavy into heavy Dolphin immediately and it hits early, it's going to pop them up a little bit higher, not as far, and they can fall and hit a button or air dash cancel, get an attack afterwards, and get more consistent damage. Again, vertical Dolphin is much, much stronger, better combo tool, better, like, you know, if you catch somebody jumping with it, great. It's going to be very strong. So horizontal Dolphin died, so vertical Dolphin may live. And then finally, the wonderful dynamic Goshogawara, aka the Killer Whale Super, has more recovery and your opponent lands it to air block it, so it's easier to punish. So that's May. Didn't get anything vital buff-wise, but I think she's at a point where you don't really want to push her too far. She has a lot of strength on her own in terms of just the big damage, especially with her vertical Dolphin buff. It's going to be really strong, as well as the better light normals is going to make it so that when she gets up close, she's going to be a bigger of a threat, and a little bit of a character distance away. Running up doing 5K is going to be a lot stronger with those buttons. So once she gets in, it's going to be tough to keep her out, and I think it's going to enable her to get better mid-range damage because of the vertical Dolphin buff. So we'll see how that plays out. But I think they are pushing her forward a bit with the vertical Dolphin. But then like the nerfs on the damage in the corner is not going to be as much, because that was her moneymaker. She'd get a certain hit in the corner, 5H, 5H, 6H, whatever you want it, and the opponent would pretty much like lose most of their life. So they were like, let's tone that down because her corner game on a confirm is way too strong. But I think I think she's fine, honestly. Vertical Mr. Dolphin is going to be really, really good. And that's just, like I said, it's going to make the combos a little bit better. And that 5K buff, I think, is going to be push her to be a great character at playing close by. and having a really big threat at that distance. Okay, okay, That's been a lot. I'm like, damn. Whoa, I got how many characters left? That was just 3 characters out of a lot. That's right, 942. I mean, this video is going to be long, so you need to bear with me. Axl Low. This is some stuff that I'm just like, what in the bloody hell is going on here? Holy crap. Let me make sure I have a slow waker ready to go. So, like it mentions, let's go through the list. Mr. Winter Manus, balance intentions. His command grab is now a combo tool, so it can hit opponents in a sequence where Sickle's Flash won't connect. When his Rensen won't hit, you can use Winter Manus sometimes. So we have new confirmed with Axl into his command grab. So he's going to get the armbar and the side flip, which is great because it's super cancelable into One Vision. That's going to be interesting. And then they talk about 6K and Rainwater is going to be better in the corner, and that's really something that I saw from one of the videos of showing sneak peeks of every character, which I thought was really cool. But then you're giving Crouching P a lot better and Far Standing Slash a lot better, and those are buttons that aren't as used as much as 5P and 2H. So you're making his poking tools stronger, especially the ones with low recovery like 2P and Far Standing Slash, which is kind of in the middle there, right? So he's basically becoming a mid-range full-screen monster like he's supposed to be. He doesn't really have much value up close, but it's going to have more there. And they strengthen the attack startup, adjust the attack startup aerial snail. So if you land jump S, you do aerial snail, you don't have to like worry about a deep hit anymore to guarantee that you get that follow-up into a knockdown. So that's going to be nice, being able to use that more often. So Crouching P goes farther. Great. Low impact tool. When characters can run under 5P, it's going to be a nice check, and it's a combo tool. You should be at any range be able to do 2P into snail and be fine. Good deal. 6P launches opponent on grounded hit. That's big. 6P is a button that has its primary weakness is it's honestly almost useless. 2K, 5K, 6P, you don't get squat. It's like a 2-button confirm that you don't get anything from, because any special after 6P typically misses because you're so close and nothing hits that speed. It sucks. It used to be in like the first beta, Axl could do like 6P, 2D into combo, when they took away that. Now you can basically anything from a 6P is like gray beat. You don't get anything from it unless it's like perfectly max distance. But it's a big buff. If you hit somebody on the ground with 6P and a confirm, so you do 2K 6P, they will get into the air with less blowback distance, so that's going to make it so you can combo. What kind of combo I'm excited to see. Can you do 2K 6P Rainwater and then get a confirm? That'd be so cool. I want to see that. I feel like his combos close range and his will make it so you want to do not just 2K 2D, you want to do 2K 6P. Especially with Rainwater being better, it makes it a lot nicer to go for 6P. So I'm excited to see how that plays. But speaking of Crouching K, one of the best low attacks in the game. Less knockback, better able to do 2K 2D, and 2K 6P is going to be more consistent. So that is super good, especially because you have the extra hits done from a 2K. I wonder what kind of confirm you'll be able to get off of it. And again, that's already one of the best low attacks in the game. 5 frames, low attack, low profile. It is phenomenal, and that's going to be very strong. 6K has a wall bounce. So I talked about it earlier with Rainwater. Corner combos now, you can do 6K into other Rainwater or 6K into Rensen. It now has a wall bounce, so your opponent's guaranteed to fall into your special attack, which is great. Close standing slash, less recovery. Again, putting it in line with Ramlethal, Nago, characters like that. Being able to have better advantage afterwards, especially with the dash cancel, is going to be nice. Not that Axl really wants to run in on people, but if the frame advantage works out pretty well, again, you have another character. I mean, this is something why they nerfed how how fast characters fall. You know, the added gravity from close slash is because these less recovery is going to let characters do close slash more consistently. Far slash, reduce recovery and expanded hitbox and reduce hurtbox. Now it's going to be harder to counter poke, and it's going to be a better long range attack. So again, when you do close slash with Axl, you're essentially just doing close slash into 2D. You might do close slash, far slash, but there wasn't a lot of reward, or maybe sometimes it'd be funky. But now you have that, and that's going to be good to do counter pokes from mid range, and just be able to play that, you know, because again, Axl thrives at a long range and plays okay at the mid range. But now you're strengthening his mid range game, makes him more versatile. His weakness is always going to be that point blank game, but with the changes to 2K and 6P, that will make him an all around better character. But what does that change and hurt? And that's where it comes into Axl Bomber, which we'll talk about later. Winter Manus can now hit opponents while they're taking damage, so now it's not just a attack that is meant for hitting opponents when they're just blocking or standing there. But it no longer hits opponents when more than a set distance apart. So, I gotta see what the range of it is. It might not hit as far back. It's not gonna hit full screen. But it's gonna hit closer because it's gonna start closer. It's gonna start from like a mid-range and pull forward, which is what's gonna let it combo. And you're not gonna get like, oh, we're playing full screen, full screen hit. So it's a nerf, but a buff, because now you have another combo tool in there, especially one that you can switch sides with. So if you're fighting in the corner and you hit a person and you're gonna combo to Rensen, now you can combo to Winter Manus, side swap there in the corner, bingo bongo, you're living the good life. So that's really, really strong, and better upper hitbox. So it's gonna catch, you know, it's meant to catch people when hits done in the air. Less startup on Aerial Snail, and the opponent bounces higher with decreased blowback distance, so in certain situations, you'll be able to follow it up a lot better after a jump slash, because it is now faster. Which would be interesting. I want to see how well you can effectively use it. So if you do jump slash, Aerial Snail, land into a combo, that'd be cool. Rainwater is the big one. Less scaling on it. It's a better combo tool, and a better tool in general, right? Because it is going to be useful in a sense of let's see, if you look at everything, right? Less affected by combo blowback scaling, and increased combo blowback scaling. So it's a lot of little, like, how it knocks back. I think it's just like, it doesn't push him as far on, like, when you start with it. But then when you use it in a combo, you're not pushed back as far. So that's the thing. When you use it and you hit with it, Axl's going to get pushed back away or further away, except if you use it as a starter. So if you run up, do Rainwater, they try to throw, you hit them, you're going to be close enough for a solid confirm. But if you do a hit into it, you'll be further away after it hits. So it's very confusing, but that's what that all stands for. Now if you hit it, they get knocked higher, and you're better able to follow it up. Now that they go back less distance on hit, it's basically kind of like canceled out. It cancels out his being pushed back further out. So now it hits higher too. So it's basically just a much stronger combo tool. They showed a sequence in the corner where they hit Rainwater on normal hit, into a combo into 6K, into Rainwater again, into Rinse and Wall Break. And Axl just has better corner confirms without relying on Axl Bomber, which we follow up next. Axl Bomber is no longer a DP motion. You no longer have to do TK DP. You just can do Tiger Knee, 2-3-6-9, and get Axl Bomber. But it does not launch as much in the corner, so you're not going to get as many Axl Bombers in a row, which was a staple confirm combo of Bomber, Bomber, Bomber. Now probably just going to be Bomber, Bomber until like a hit into Renset or something. And lastly, Axl Super Sickle Storm, the reversal super. So one vision is not being changed, but now if you jump into Sickle Storm, you'll land faster, so you can jump and avoid the second hit. Because usually if you would jump, he would do it, and it would anti-air. They would block the first part. They have to block the second part, but now they don't have to worry about that. They'll land, jump over, and again, more consistent. You're rewarded for blocking it any which way, grounded or otherwise. So that's Axl. Axl, a better long-range threat. better overall, like as a whole package. Better up close, better at a distance, better at mid-range. They've just boosted him. Only thing they took away was Axl Bomber. Everything else, already a decent character. Kind of stuck in the mid, but now it's just going to be just better quality of life overall. So more reward for catching your opponent slipping, as well as better confirms as a whole. I'm about it. Give me better long range confirms, and I'm all about that. Hit that 2H. Hit 2H into Winter Manus. Let's go. Man. So much to consider and talk about. This is getting long. I still got so many characters to go through. That's fine. That's fine. How long have I been recording? I wonder. Does it tell me? It's been over an hour now. Okay. And we've only covered 4 characters in the system stuff. Oh boy. Chipp Zanuff. So Chipp's biggest strength is the amount of options, but adjustment identifies the advantage. So Senshu, the Palm, has a tech startup. Let me double check. That is the Palm, right? The one I look like a fool, which I already am. Senshu. Senshu's the flip kick. Okay, so that's the follow-up after Resho, Rokusai, Senshu. So that now is essentially been reduced, so it's going to be a lot faster and better to hit with instead of just like, oh, I stand block, because it's very easy to see. Aerial Alpha Blade Diagonal can be followed up when it hits, so when you confirm, you have better confirms. And then Gamma Blade is going to be, it's going to be harder to counter, which is always, it's been like a corner pressure tool, but definitely I think it has its weaknesses, especially because like how much Chipp puts himself out there for using Gamma Blade, especially being able to hit the clone and deal massive damage, or hitting both at the same time, doing double damage. Got to make it really strong because of just the weight of the risk behind it. Just taking a breather, sorry. Okay. Take a sip. We know about crutch Ks. We know about close standing S's. Again, close standing slashes, universal change across characters, just better, better. Far stand slash, less hurt box during startup, so harder to stuff. Jump piece, so all the initial stuff, like the first 5 stuff, we can just like say, hey, same shit. Alpha Blade Diagonal no longer hits opponent when more than a set distance apart, so harder to confirm off of, or harder to hit. Aerial Alpha Blade Horizontal no longer hits opponents, so again, it's just going to be like, it has to be closer, but it will work better closer. And then now you have Aerial Alpha Blade Diagonal. Less recovery. Lands a greater distance forward than before. No longer hits an opponent when more than a set distance apart, like other Alpha Blades, so it's kind of consistent. But it's a better combo tool. You're going to get off a hit with it. You can get a follow-up, such that's going to increase Chipp's combo potential and corner carry. Beta Blade, like every uppercut, has that Roman cancel change. Block midair if you jump and block it. It's not as good a reversal. It's essentially all across the board. You jump block, you get a punish. You bait it out, a little easier, it's not as fast. Gamma Blade though, more block stun. This is huge. More block stun. If it hits an opponent, they get launched higher, so you get a better confirm off it, more consistent confirm. Launches the opponent higher on grounded hit, but now launches the opponent lower with decreased horizontal blowback distance. Great. That says a lot. Pushes him further back out a little bit. And it's kind of like how Axl has that with Rainwater. Essentially same as Rainwater. But now launches opponent less than previously when used multiple times the same combo, so doing multiple Gamma Blades is not really any reward for it. But increased tumble duration, so if they roll after getting hit, better confirm off it. So it's just basically hitting somebody with it. You get them in more block stun, And then you also get more consistent confirms off it. So that's just going to be a better tool for Oki, as well as just, yeah, it's going to be, it's very good meaty. Very good meaty. And then finally, you have Senshu, the overhead, less startup, less recovery, so you get better confirms off of it. Faster too, so it's gonna move forward faster. And now creates less distance with the opponent on hit in the corner, so you're closer, you get a close slash as opposed to like a far slash. Your opponent can now recover after landing, so no longer a hard knockdown, but that's fine because you're going to get a confirm off of it anyway. And reduces low, so you get a pretty chunky combo because you're not going to get wall break as fast. And then Bonky Mesai, instead of double 236K, it's double 236P. So what that does is it basically makes it so it does not interfere with alpha. I guess no. Huh. I guess it's not like the same as Alpha Blade, but now that you can, they made the change to where overlapping motions don't affect the special move can cancel into the overdrive. That won't be so bad, I think. Or I guess no, that's, yeah, instead of being horizontal, if you messed up, you got Alpha Blade diagonal, which would screw you over. So they wanted to make it, if you messed up, you got horizontal Alpha Blade instead. Okay, that makes sense. Chompkin. Best Chipp. Chipp just a little bit better mix-up, better pressure with close slash, better combo potential with the Alpha Blade changes, and Gamma Blade just being a better meaty tool. Yeah, here you go. Just better mix-ups, better pressure. He's already getting hits, so I think he's gonna get more damage just for how it's designed. It's gonna get more damage, and better combo routes. Moving on, Potemkin. Garuda Impact. So we'll just go over everything. As always, Garuda Impact now easier to follow up when you're in the corner, even on an aerial hit, making punishing opponent's backdash more rewarding. Yeah, one easy way of avoiding, you will get hit by Garuda Impact in a backdash. You at least weren't guaranteed to get Potemkin Buster. You were like, oh, I backdash, I tumble backwards, I get a distance, he moves forward, but I'm not taking 50% of my life gone. Man, Gigantor is big because it's now not a reversal, it is now a pressure tool to be used in sequences. It was already not the best reversal because it was a super that you could throw out. If a button came out and the opponent got hit by it, sure, but a lot of times the opponent would run up, Potemkin would do the super Gigantor, he'd get thrown out of it, whatever. So now, you don't throw him out of it. Now I don't mean, he can't use it as a reversal, but if he puts you in block stun, he could put it out there, even on combos, up close. Because normally when it would hit, he would burst, and you would get knocked down, take some damage, big whoop. But if you did it from a distance, the shockwaves come out at a 3 hit. Now if you do it up close, you hit the initial hit, the shockwave comes out. So he gets more damage for using it in combos. So they wanted it to go away from it is no longer a reversal tool, it is now a combo tool, like other supers. So Stand K is the one. It's a standing low. Now it is the one with reduced frontal hurt box, so you can put that out without getting, not going to trade hits as often anymore. Everything else is the same thing. Like all his buttons have less hurt box, so harder to just stuff him. Or you can't whiff punish him from as far. Forward heavy. He does not go as far as back when he hits it. So he can hit it, and then when he cancels into when he cancels into Hammerfall break, he doesn't have to go as far to stay up close. That's gonna be really nice, and just keep him, reward him for hitting it. Opponent can no longer recover after landing on counter hit. So if you hit somebody, hard knockdown. That's kind of sweet. And reduced tumble duration on counter hit, so they don't roll as far, so it's harder to follow up, but they're guaranteed to be hard knockdown. Which, you blast somebody, Potemkin's in their face, and it's spooky time. Potemkin Buster is not going to have as much of a hurt box in front of it. It's kind of weird. Less damage on Mega Fist, which makes sense. That's one of his, probably his best move, best combo starter. So less damage on that. Okay. If Hammerfall hits counter hit, they do not get a... They cannot... Oh man, so he gets a lot of hard knockdowns. Which essentially, if you hit 6 heavy, or if you hit 6 heavy counter hit, or if you hit Hammerfall counter hit, you are guaranteed essentially a Garuda impact. And he can go further forward. So when he has 50% meter, you know Potemkin is going to cover that distance to get in your ass. So he goes farther on there, which is also really good because that helps off of hitting 6 heavy into Hammerfall. You can go further before you have to do a break. FDB, that's the flick. Less damage scaling. So better combo tool. Reduce combo blowback scaling, stay closer. So just a better combo tool. And then Garuda, less damage, which, I mean, again, that's the biggest moves that Potemkin uses. Garuda Impact, Mega Fist. So less damage on that. But now there's a tumble effect. And that's if they're airborne. So again, tumble effect is if they're airborne on airborne hits. If you Garuda Impact somebody on airborne, you now, especially in the corner, because like you hit somebody with Garuda, they would... On the ground, they stagger, you get, dash, you get Kara, Potemkin Buster, yay. But on airborne hit, they would wall bounce, but you really wouldn't get anything from it. They would land close to you, and that was it. But now, there's a tumble and the hard knockdown. So you hit somebody with it, Potemkin gets them closer to the corner, and is up close again, ready to go, and that's reward for hitting the air hit. If you're in the corner and it hits air hit, you get the combo from the tumble, you get the launch into a combo. Garuda Impact is scarier because it has more utility and you're rewarded for hitting opponents who are trying to jump away. Backdashing is not free anymore. And then Gigantor, again, it basically is not a reversal anymore, no invincibility, but if he hits you with it, the projectile still comes out, so you get more damage now. You're guaranteed a full combo from it. But, because of that, less startup, so it's a better combo tool, less recovery, so you can follow it up better. And if you're in the corner, you don't automatically break the wall, so you get the full sequence and you get a wall break. So it is essentially a very strong combo tool. And a better reason for using meter. Because typically you use your meter for after Potemkin Buster, after Mega Fist, you have another avenue of using bar, and that's going to be the power of a Gigantor. Which is, the last change is great too. The projectile now decelerates when close to the corner. When he hits you in the corner, it's going to be slower, you get a better combo, because it's not just going to go off screen immediately. So that's a scary super now, honestly. Because you do it in neutral just to set up the wave and walk forward and be scary, spooky Potemkin. Now you can do it off any hit, and again, just continue to be scary, spooky Potemkin. Alright, moving on to Faust. Better stand K and far standing slash. You can take advantage of ground on neutral, which was supposed to be his strong suit. Because those buttons weren't as good as they could be, they're basically on the level of, say, like Exert or Accent Core. A bit better, closer to that. Mini fast attack better, so instead of just like hobbling around till you hit them, they're going to activate and be a better tool like the older mini Fausts. They'll still walk around a bit, but at least if you get too close, they'll just get pissed off and attack you. Faster startup on Scarecrow, so better mix-up tool. So when you have items set up, typically you would go for Scarecrow, but people would have a lot of time to react because it had such a slow startup, but now you can follow up items better, which we'll get into. And lastly was, after hitting his super Bone Crushing Excitement, makes it easier to hit wall break when you do it, so it doesn't pull far as back anymore, which is typically how it would happen. When you hit the super, like Faust would go back a distance when it hits, but now he's going to be closer, and it's going to keep people closer to the corner. 6P is going to be better because you have more time to do an item toss afterwards. The change to 5K was now it has a lower hitbox, harder to low profile. With the dash cancel, it's going to be very strong. Far standing slash, reduce recovery, reduce frontal hitbox, so harder to counter poke, like Axl, but now less recovery, so you throw it out there, not so worried about an opponent getting a lot of that space afterwards. Crouching slash, grounded opponents get launched higher when you do crouching slash slash. Heavy slash to follow up. On counter hit, they can no longer recover. Okay, that's a weird change, but it's fine. There's a stagger on forward heavy if it hits, so it's not like, so maybe it was a better combo tool. You more consistently hit 6 heavy into mix, whereas you really couldn't before. So that's a good change for him, I think. Picking a mix made the timing and controlling Faust movements directed with inputs faster, so you get more momentum, faster momentum when you hold forward or backward on it. Blowback direction now matches the direction Faust is facing, so they always go the direction you're going. And the final hit during active frames now has the same property regardless of number of hits. So you will be better able to juggle off of mix, where it was always tricky to get that perfect hit so that you were able to land. You can get punished if you mess it up, right? Now it's easier to get those mix confirms. It's what it sounds like. Banana heals can no longer hit multiple characters at the same time, so if your opponent gets slipped up, you don't get slipped up. Afro now guard crushes when you throw it, or when you use the Afro and light it on fire, it's now a guard crush when it explodes. Normally it would just explode, they will block. Now they go into whoa Nelly, right? That's great, because Afro needed to be stronger. It was not a lot. You'd make it explode, get a little bit of combo, but now there could be more guards done, which allows Faust to get a better mix-up afterwards. Meteors, guaranteed a combo after it. Those meteors hit hard. And considering the speed of Scarecrow, that's going to blend well together, because you throw meteors out, you use Scarecrow left, right. It hits, you get the confirm off it because of the bounce. So that's again, meteors become very spooky. When you normally got a hit, you get like a small combo. Now you get a better combo, so that's going to better reward for the rarer item. I talked about Mini Faust a little bit. Okay. Mini Faust now activates directly after coming into contact with an opponent or being attacked. So if Mini Faust walks by somebody, pardon me, he gets pissed. Instead of just being there and not caring until you hit him. Scarecrow, if you get a hit, you get a confirm off, it looks like. It comes out faster. Attack animation now begins when the button is released. So when you're holding it, as soon as you let go, boom. That's cool. Thrust, the pool looks to be a little bit better. So many characters to go through, so bear with me. We're getting there. Yeah, thrust. So the scalpel pool now a little bit trickier, a little bit harder to just poke them out of it. And then lastly, love, increased damage of initial hit. So the bomb bag now has more damage. The projectile now appears even when it moves Roman cancel at a point than before, so you don't accidentally not throw your bomb bag. And last bit, better hitbox upper, so better to confirm with. Blowback direction matches direction Faust is facing. Closer to the opponent after the cinematic ends, so it makes it so it counts as a wall break more consistently because of that. So again, Faust just a lot of minor tweaks, but better stuff to his mix-up, and his items got stronger, so a lot more reward for getting the good items. And then being better able to mix up afterwards, so it adds a lot to the character, who can now power forward and do a bit more with his kit. Jump 2K is always going to be the menace, and that always adds to a thing to it, right? But now just having a little bit better poke game. And then also just a big fact of just like when you get those good items, you have to be more wary of what Faust is going to do to you. Millia Rage. Okay, so far standing slash has increased range or reduced startup, so better poke. a nice little tool there, and that's going to be good because she needs a good poke like that. Jump Dust, Compel, other moves, make a previous chip of the opponent, deal damage. And going on offense with Jump Heavy Slash, Turning, and Air Dash. Since a lot of times people go Jump Heavy Slash and then mix up with Jump D. We'll mix up with another Jump Heavy Slash, now you can use Jump D and Compel in the pressure situations to get more tricky stuff. And then lastly, heavy version of Tandem Top has less recovery, so it's a lot better of a tool to set up Oki with. That's going to be very scary because it had so much recovery, most characters could just jump out of the setup if she went for heavy Tandem Top. Better Crouch P, so better able to mash out of things, which is nice. More of the same and everything, especially close standing slash reduce recovery. But change the on hit effect to second hit. May not launch as high because she can probably chain them more so. But it's just one of those little things that she now like every other character, better close stand slash. Except for like Faust. Faust doesn't get a better close stand slash. Standing heavy slash, less. You can counter poke it. You can't counter poke it as hard. We already know about jump P, jump K, jump slash, just quality of life. And then Jump D, expanded frontal hitbox and reduced hurtbox. Now launches opponent on grounded hit. So if they're grounded hit Jump D, you're going to get a launch. So that's, again, it's going to be a great tool for, again, mixing up the various like, air dash things here and there. So that is, again, very spooky. And something that's going to be nice because, again, this is a move you don't see too often. So it's going to be a little bit better for her to utilize. Ground throw, more recovery, which is important because with the tandem top having less recovery, throw into heavy tandem top will be too strong. So they're saying no to that. They're making sure that it's not going to be too belligerent. Bad Moon, if you do like just Tiger Knee Bad Moon, launch the opponent higher. So better able to juggle off of it, I think. So it'll be interesting to see if you get TK Bad Moon off a hit, you can get maybe a small confirm, which would be nice. Turbo Fall, more usable because less recovery on all tandem tops. And if Millia blocks an attack, tandem top does not disappear. So if an opponent challenges her during tandem top, it will not just go away. So that again also makes her very strong because heavy tandem top comes out, you try to punch her, she does blocks, you get hit by tandem top, then she gets a full combo. You have to go for a throw or just jump out. You have to respect Millia when she does tandem top. Tengen Toppa, tandem Toppa. More knockback on the S version, so with less recovery, reduced recovery, it's going to be more crucial for an opponent to get hit by it. They want to make sure she doesn't really get as rewarded now that she gets to act faster afterwards. Decreased horizontal blowback distance on Iron Savior, and a better frontal hitbox. Okay. So, you get a hit, better tool, combo into on the hair car. Doesn't knock as far back, so if you get those like proper confirms, it's easier to juggle. Should get more reward from that. Lush Shaker, for last hit will not cause blowback sometimes, so it's going to quality of life. Lush Capel is now a projectile. It is no longer just a strike. Reduced recovery, so more usable. Is affected by momentum, so she's gonna be really smoothing, and better damage and better hitbox. So it's just a special that a lot of Millias use, but now it's gonna have a lot more function. It's not just form, it's function. That's gonna be nice. So not just for movement and tricky stuff, it's actually gonna be offense tool. So it's gonna be a fun thing that I get to see Millia players like put into their play. And then lastly, Wake Up Winger is gonna be hard. It's gonna be easier to punish because that is her only reversal, and all good reversals are getting their shins kicked in. Oh boy. I feel if I'm speeding up, it's been hour 30 minutes just about. I still got I've already done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 characters out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Out of 20. I have done literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 out of 20. Oh boy. I'm in for the long haul. That's fine. This is my life now. Okay, when Eddie is summoned, I think I'm just going to look at the changes. I think I'm just going to skip what their intentions were. I think a lot of it's just making his mix-up better and being able to use Zato being able to use Eddie more. So Eddie reduce meter depletion when not attacking, so when Eddie's just hanging out, moving around, he can hang out a little longer, and you can just, set him up better and put the threat of him moving around more. And that's just gonna, again, just add on to how many times you can use those really good Eddie specials like Piercer and Drills, just to continue, the crazy game that he can do in neutral. 6B, adjusted animation opponent character on hit, maybe not as good. I don't know, does it nerf or not? We'll find out. It's kind of ambiguous. And again, same thing as everything else. Reduced knockback on crouching K, faster 2, close stance slash, etc. Crouch slash, harder to count to whiff punish. Or harder to counter poke, because that is notoriously bad button to poke to throw out, so it's gonna be better for him. Heavy, more damage on standing heavy, less damage on crouching heavy, which was like a big money maker for him. So getting hit by heavy slash is not going to be, crouching heavy is not going to be like you getting just immediately erased. 6 heavy, reduced descent speed. So when you use that, you can follow it up now. So when you use 6 heavy, the bug out of his chest, you can do like jump K into jump D or jump D after, just to stay airborne and continue with the mix-up pressure. So that just makes 6 heavy a lot more usable tool, where it was usually just like a guard break. Sometimes in mix, now it's going to be a pivotal part of going over lows and then just applying pressure into a mix-up game with double overheads, or just landing a command grab. It's just a big threat. Speaking of jump P, same thing as always on that. Jump heavy, first half of the active frame launches the opponent higher. So if you hit it early, you get a better juggle off of it. Jump D again is going to be more useful because he stays airborne a little bit better. Increased deceleration, so he kind of hovers more, which is nice. Pierce, delay the timing when any gauge is depleted. So it depletes, but not as fast. And then initial hit now launches the opponent higher. So on hit, a bit better to juggle with, looks like, yeah. And then reduced attack startup with second hit. So I think it's just Piercer if it hits. There's no more gap between it, and you're guaranteed a combo if it hits. Which is scary. Which is very, very scary. Pierce is messed up. That's going to be even more messed up. That's a lot. That's the drills. Delayed, again, the Eddie gauge doesn't deplete until a little bit later. Less damage from the drills, though, and all types of scaling will not be applied at once, even when the projectile hits multiple times. So it's a lot more scaling on it if it hits, and that's typically a big pressure tool that he has, right? And finally, Leap, which is the frog. Less damage from the toad, and that goes in hand in hand with crouching heavy. Just those big damage combos from like oppose into crouch heavy into frog, toad loops, not going to be as much. And then Amorphous, which was like a kind of a not a great reversal, is now even more funny because it has less startup. Well, no, it's a better reversal. Sorry, I read the other way around. Reduced attack startup, so it's a much better reversal now. And the movement speed of the hitbox is a lot better too, so you can use it on Wake Up. Yay, good for him. Ramlethal Valentine. Dash cancel. Increased recovery. That's kind of important. So there's, oh my god, there's more recovery on Ramlethal when she does her dash cancels off her Rekkas. And I hope that is also for dash cancel off normals. Because it was already really scary what she could do in terms of dash canceling and how powerful it was to dash cancel Rekkas. So I think that's going to just weaken the combos from dash cancel Rekkas. So she won't be able to just freely go for these big damage combos mid-screen with the Rekkas. So you're kind of just limited to shooting a sword out or just doing one set of Rekkas. We'll see. Not too sure. That's what I wager from that. Same normals as everything before. Close standing slash being better is a war crime. Far standing slash and standing heavy slash, you can jump at her and not just get swatted. So if you IAD over her, she can't just throw out far standing slash and hope it will hit you. So she has to be more careful when she throws it out. It's just more punishable overall. So that just makes it so you can't just be playing the lane game and just like, oh, I'm going to sit in the range and go slash slash and hope you get hit by it. You can still do it, still great button if they're grounded, but you know, anybody jumping is not going to get blown up immediately. Bayonetto. Delayed timing when the projectile appears. Attack startup remains unchanged. So, same startup, but it's not going to appear as early. So I think like if you are in like a scramble situation, you won't get tagged by it, which I think like point blank might help. I don't know how much that goes. If Ramlethal takes damage after firing a sword and before it reaches the corner, the hitbox disappears and the sword will be placed on the ground. So if she throws a sword at you, you're no longer punished for hitting her during the sword throw. So if you're a character like Axl, you throw Rensen out and she throws her sword, you're not going to trade and she gets the advantage because you get knocked further back. Less damage too, and reduce hitbox of the explosion to in the corner. You can avoid it a lot easier, which will be very nice. So that's just going to, it weakens her corner game a little bit, weakens her corner damage a little bit, and makes it so you're able to contest Bayonetto better. Daruo is really nice. Movement distance is much further. It goes a lot further. They showed a sneak peek of it. When she Daruos, she goes really far forward. And basically 2D into Daruo at most ranges, she'll be able to follow up afterwards. Because she goes so far forward, she can continue to juggle. So that's really scary. And then I don't know if she'll stay closer afterwards. I mean, it's not really an attack that you do mid-screen on a standing opponent and then keep going. But maybe a small advantage to keep her pressure going, and it creates a strike-throw mix if you do it mid-screen on a grounded opponent. Reduced acceleration and lowered height of ascent. Sorry, all this talking gets my nose a little flared up. Aggressa Ordono, I believe that's her flippy flip. No, her flippy flip is Sildo Detro. Aggressa Ordono is the jump slashes. So that is easier to use on jump confirms. And then lastly, the last two, Calvados. Final hit does more damage, but everything else does less. So the big blast super in the corner is not, which is usually a combo finisher, not going to be as much. Mortal Botto, one of the best reversals in the game. Not anymore! You can jump and block it and actually get a fucking punish. Hooray! That deserves a curse word. So now she is going to be still scary because, again, this is a character who dominates the mid-screen really well and has crazy corner pressure. But now her corner pressure is going to be a bit weaker. So it's not going to be as potent of pressure that she'll have in the corner because it'll be a little easier to contest it either by hitting her before the swords come out or avoiding the sword explosions. And the damage being a little bit less, you won't die as hard. And another part of it, when you look at the system changes, because the fact that Ram, because Ram it won't be able to do as good a burst safe combo because burst during those kind of combos will hit lower. So that should at least stop some of her her safe combo pressure. But still really strong. It's just gotta be a little less brainless, a little more thoughtful of how you go about things. That's gonna be a big part of it. It's just knowing that she cannot just throw out normals as willy-nilly, and it just like weakens her a little bit here and there, but she still gets like the bust with Darua, which opens up a lot of potential for combos there. So it's like they added quality of life to the stuff that wasn't used as much, and they kind of like changed the little things here and there. Her combos are still really good, her damage is still really good, and you just have to put there's gonna be a little more thought into playing her. Well, you wanted thought playing somebody, you don't need thought for this guy. Leo Whitefang, who is still a menace. The only character that I see with a increased recovery on 5k. So dash forward 5k on block or on hit is not going to be as good a tool to close the gap, nor as to put pressure on. And then you have crouching kick, which is normal, close standing slash, the same thing as everybody else, and that's reduced recovery because they want to dash cancel everything. Crouching slash have reduced recovery, that's a really great tool, so that's kind of spooky. Command normal 5, which is heavy slash while holding far slash or that, so that's the thrust. Can now withstand the opponent's attack until directly before the attack is active. So there's more armor now, as opposed to the armor being only during the guard. It's during like the animation of the thrust. The sweep, this is big. This is the big one. This is a move that's so stupid. That's so dumb. That's so egregiously used because there's no reason not to use it. It's negative. It was -5 on block. It's airborne on frame 5. And on counter hit, that's a full combo. Now, expand and lower hurt box so it doesn't crush other normals as hard. Where am I at? Brain, please. So increase recovery, so less safe on block. Decrease knockback, so on normal hit you don't go as far anymore. Or if you block it, you don't get pushed back as far either. Increased movement speed, so it goes faster, but it's the same speed, but it just movement speed. It's gonna go further. Or it's like, I think it's just like it's meant to keep them closer and be more punishable. So it's one of those things of just like, oh hey, guess what? He does 2D. He's at a perfect range where you can't punish him, and he's only -5. Now he's gonna be punishable and closer, so you're pretty much guaranteed a punish. But now on counter hit, you get a bigger combo, so good for him. And on dash is more effective by dash momentum. So players that do dash 2D, which is really strong, oh no, you did dash drop kick, and now you're close and super unsafe. So it's going to be harder to perfectly space. You won't be able to just throw it, dash do it. It's just a move that was way too overused. And now that even though there's more reward to it, is going to be something that every player should be able to block and punish. I'm about it. Let's go. Oh, they made it stronger. They made it. You're going to block that, and you're going to be like, thank God I can get like a close slash, and I can make him pay for going for this goofiness, right? So, hoocha, hoocha boocha. Alright, jumping slash, second hit, now launches opponent lower, so it's not as easy to juggle with it. Jump D, now bounces opponent higher. So it's still a combo tool, so it's more consistent, better combo tool overall. Eyes and Stern. Like every reversal, it's not as good. It is going to be a weaker reversal that you can bait it a little bit easier, so easier to safe jump. And when you block it, you're fine. When you block it, you're going to be like, buddy, pal, this is a-okay. I'm not too hard pressed by this. This is fine. So good for him. Good for him. I mean, he needed that. It was just a tool that needed to be toned down because you air blocked Eyes and Stern, it didn't matter. You just flash kicked, and you're like, I can't do anything about it. This sucks. You know, you try to safe jump him, you get hit for trying to safe jump. That sucked. Now it's going to be a lot easier to deal with, a lot easier to safe jump, and you get a reward for blocking it in the air. So that is perfectly great. And then you have the buff. His run through now crosses up the opponent in the corner. With a dash cancel, this is huge. This is a character that has a running special. He runs through you, slashes through, gets a cute little, pressure afterwards. But, one thing is weird. What the big but is like, because you can dash cancel normals, you can do close slash dash cancel into a mix-up. You can either do a dash, or you can do Zweit's Katz Gestuber. And you have to guess between dash cancel or cross up. Turbulent. Okay, so that is, again, because it can, at the very least, it pulls your opponent out of the corner. So you're not, even though you get hit by it, Leo's in the corner and at a set distance, so you might be able to not die immediately, and you have room to escape. We got the proper theme playing too, aren't we? Not quite. Okay. Turbulence. Thank God. Turbulence, the spike, the big behemoth that goes into Brynhildr, that is useful for a lot of air combo or a lot of juggles, is now a special that you can tech roll after. Brynhildr Turbulence does not cause hard knockdown anymore. So you can get hit by Turbulence, land, and be A-okay. That is kind of huge. That is really important for this character. That is really super good for freaking anybody. That is a huge nerf, because that is a big combo tool, especially off of like 2D. You do like the 2K into Turbulence and be like, haha, knockdown. And that, because that goes into Brynhildr. You went into like left-right mix-ups afterwards. So now it's just like, well, I got to like respect it just a little bit more. Fan-freaking-tastic. I'm all for it. Good for them. Good for them. Okay. More damage with, okay, now we go to a buff. He's got to get buffs, quality of life stuff, right? Back turn 5k was already really good. Now you get more damage. And if you get somebody with it, you get a better confirm. You hit counter hit, you're like, baby, let's go. Ugh. Why? Why do this? And finally, Blitzschlag, aka the Guard Crush, now depletes less risk on hits, and less damage scaling, which is scary, and less wall break gain value. So it is now just a spooky move to using combos in the corner and get crazy damage. Still positive on overhead. Still Brynhildr cancels into like safe stuff. Not really bad in a lot of ways, but the Turbulence nerf is huge. Eisensturm nerf's really good. The sweep is the biggest thing. Between sweep, Turbulence, and Eisensturm, it's making him a little less just egregious when it's just like there was no reason not to just do 2D in situations. And doing Eisensturm was so good because like you could just throw it out all day, every day. It didn't matter. You fucking just went crazy with Eisensturm. And now you can do more against it, which is great. It's being harder to use consistently, which is really works out for a lot of the characters that have to deal with it. So it's one of those little things. It's good in a way that he's still going to be strong because he still has a godlike 5k. He still has great normals with crouching slash and far slash. And back turn is still really good. The back turn mix is still really good. But 2D, you won't able to start up the pressure as easy because of 2D being weaker and Turbulence also being weaker. Alright, and now we go to Nagoriyuki. Well, we know how spooky Nagoriyuki always is, and that's a character with crazy damage and crazy potential in a range that most characters can't match. This one's hard to. This is probably the hardest character to parse because so much of it is ambiguous. So everything is kind of the same with all this, right? Damage and chip now varies depending on blood gauge. So now the damage differs if it's level 1, level 0, level 1, and level 2. And all is normals too. Attack startup on crouch slash and crouching on crouch slash now varies depending on blood gauge. So it might be weaker at higher blood gauge or lower blood gauge. Who knows? They don't actually tell you. And again, damage and chip varying the blood gauge. We don't know. This is something that people got to figure out because it's extremely ambiguous and confusing. Jump slash. So much stuff is just varying on blood gauge. It makes no sense. Blood Rage. When you get guard crushed by it, you can act faster. So it doesn't basically set up a situation where Nagoriyuki is going to be at a heavy advantage. I think Nagoriyuki still has to block. He's still forced to block, right? But I don't think it's punishable. If it's punishable, then cool. But I don't know for sure. Zarameyuki. Delay the timing when the blood range begins to increase. So when you use the spin with Nagoriyuki, what is that? Kamuriyuki. Hold on. Always mix these up. It's like that's clone. Okay, so clone, it makes it so the blood gauge comes up a little bit later. So if you use it in a combo, you can offset that a little better if you confirm that into your normals, so you don't pop as fast, because that is one of the specials that increases the blood gauge by a good amount, but is one of his best specials because it goes through so many projectiles and it's comboable on hit. So you're kind of rewarded for getting a hit with it, that you can follow it up. It does of course still prorate everything, but at the same time, you won't like risk blood rage as much using that, especially when it hits. Shizuriyuki, it adds a ground bounce on the second hit, and of course because Nago can chain his specials, you get a ground bounce, you get a combo with the spin with Kamuriyuki. Speaking of Kamuriyuki, less knockback, increase some more recovery, goes further. So it goes further, but if you block it, you should be able to attack Nago. But Nago can still cancel it into special moves. So when you do Kamuriyuki and go into other special moves, he doesn't just stop. He keeps moving forward. So doing Kamuriyuki into Shizuriyuki is very scary. But then that's also, if you block it, that's a lot of blood. But so that makes a guessing game. It's RPS. And Nagos love to RPS. Fukio, again, all the specials, blood gauge doesn't increase immediately. There's some delay on that when you do those specials, so you have more time to use them in combos to reduce how much how much the blood gauge will rise. The later half of the move can be canceled special moves, so now you can basically special cancel Fukio at the end of it. And when you cancel special moves, he keeps moving forward. So that just can make super long range Kamuriyuki for a high cost of blood. And finally, Wasureyuki, aka Nago's super. If you do the follow-up cinematic, if you don't get the follow-up cinematic, it's more recovery. So you're not guaranteed a 6 heavy. Now pounce opponent higher when this hit connects without triggering the follow-up cinematic. Well, you still might get something because they go higher in the air. But now if you air block it, because that's what every Nago loves to do with meter, is go for disrespect me no. Okay, Hitachi does it a lot. If you air block it, you punish him, which is in line with most every other character. So very good. What does this affect him? A lot, right? It's hard to say. This is, again, with all these changes depending on blood gauge, just damage and chip and startup, we won't know until it happens. Is our moves going to be faster or slower? If they're faster when you have higher blood gauge, or if they're slower off the bat and they become normal speed with higher blood, it's weird. It is very, very weird. I don't know. Like I said, the Nagoriyuki nerf is big because that was the neutral skip, Beyblade, haha, funny times. You still have to respect the followable specials, but at least it's your turn after you block it and you commit to attacking them afterwards. Yay. Woohoo. Hooray. So like this character is still like to be determined. Now Giovanna, oh boy. Oh boy. This character got like a baby nerf. She got she got tapped on the knee. This character's gonna be scary. Like I don't see there's any way that's not top tier. But Fundio. Let's take a look. I love Giovanna so much. Dash. Movement distance can now be altered with forward or back inputs during the animation. So you can go further or you can go not as far. You have more ability to adjust your total dash distance without having to FD break before your block animation is triggered. Ooh. So that makes her even trickier dipping in and out when you're dashing forward. This is huge. Added chip damage when over 50% tension. So when she has half a bar, because she starts turning green. She's a character that's designed, when she gets 50% tension, she starts like changing color. She starts getting green, and 100% she's like this super dark green, right? So now, when she gets that, she gets chip damage. How much chip damage? Who knows? But it's chip damage. It makes it so at 50% tension, people have to FD her. She's going to be a strong checkmate character at 100% tension because she can basically special move RC and go ham. And just be like, guess what? This string, this far slash, bop, 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 into the back kick. It already does chip damage. Well, command normals. So it's not the special already do chip damage, but you get it, right? You get it. So like hit into 6K, into 6 heavy, the triple kicks. Let's go, Chippu. I like that. Sweep. This is the sad part. 2-dog. 2-dog is already scary. Ooh, I didn't notice that before. Far standing slash, horizontal blowback distance is decreased, so it's easier to follow up if you connect it, which is great. Sweep has more recovery. 2-dog was basically a move that you're not with punishing ever, and it also no longer hits opponent when more than a set distance apart. So the range is a lot less, and it's more recovery, so you can't just do it as often as you could. If Leo gets this treatment, she should too. Obviously, it's fine, but the reward on counter hit's still huge. I don't know what the distance is. It's hard to say, but that's her biggest nerf. Same on a lot of other stuff, so that's kind of like whatever with the normals. Jump D, less damage, and opponent now launches higher, so more consistent when you do jump combos with jump K, jump D. Sepultura, less damage, that's her roundhouse kick. And reduce lower hitbox and hurt box, so it's not going to hit as high, so a little bit trickier to use in combo sequences. Trovao, this is the money maker. Trovao now goes further forward. It has more range and more active frames, so she travels a further set distance, which is crazy, and it is essentially a tool. If Trovao hits, she will get a 5k. She is guaranteed a combo on Trovao hit. Trovao 5k into Sepultura is a natural combo, not on counter hit. They showed that off, and that is kind of crazy. That character, she is able to use this tool that's telegraphed, but goes from further out, so if it goes unchecked, and if it connects, she gets so much value. It's crazy. Good for her. Good for her. She deserves it. She deserves it. And reduced recovery. So that's where it leans into the advantage on block, and on hit is more. Because it has a lot of startup, and if you block it, it's your own damn fault. If you get hit by it, it's your own damn fault. So I'm all for it. And that should also increase your counter hit combos. Because 5 heavy counter hit, you wanted Troval. You would do 5 heavy counter hit Troval into Far Slash. Now you might be able to get more. I'm really curious to see what you get from that. Sol Nascente, that's her flip kick, her uppercut. Now is even reduced lower hitbox and extended upper hitbox. So less of a tool to use as a counter poke, which was like a very fast normal that can hit people's buttons and launch people and get a big counter hit confirm. But now it's a better anti-air as fast as it is. So it's not invincible. But it's still very spooky because you do that and, you know, if they're high enough, you'll get a big meaty confirm because even if not on counter hit. And then you have another big change, which is Sol Poenche. That's her flippy kick where she just does the big splits and the dog goes splat. You know, you got it hits lower, but you can change where she goes by holding left or right, so you can create a left-right mix-up. Because of that, it now has increased recovery, so it's no longer positive on block. It was positive 1, now it's going to be opponent's turn if they block it correctly. But if it hits, she gets a better combo. When Sol Poenche hit normally, she could do a crouch punch into Sepultura, get a little bit of damage. Now she'll probably be able to get 5k into something on successful hit of Sol Poenche. Attack level second hit is better, and reduced attack startup a second hit. So I think like that's when you use the grounded version, which is again interesting, increased recovery, but more block stun. So that might even out the changes that are actually there. It's really interesting how you think about it. And now think about momentum. So when you dash, Sol Poenche is going to go flip, and you're going to hold forward. She's going to go all the way across. That's going to be so cool. And then lastly is Ventanilla, her spin kick super. It now has increased attack startup, so you can't really use it as a reversal as good. Oh boy, my friends are okay. In a 45-minute league game, poor fools. All right, we're almost there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 characters to go. Home stretch. Okay. Oh boy, home stretch. We got this. Anji Mito. So this is the character that they don't really like buffing in good ways. They give him buffs. It's like kind of like whatever, but I don't know how well it's gonna do as a whole. So same stuff as before. You know, all the same changes to there. Far standing slash, a better button. So again, like other characters like Axl and Kai, more useful from the character distance away as a further range poke to go into their stuff, which is good for him. Reduced attack startup. It's a natural lead-in into Fujin. You can contest people a little bit better at that range. So that's why people are saying, oh, mid-range is better. And it is better. Because all these normals, these far slash normals are just better overall, which they should be. They shouldn't be as weak as they are. They should all be in the level of Soul Badguy, but not as strong. Ride the fire. Crouching S, like far slash, less startup, less hurt box. So just a better counter poke, a better tool for confirms, which will be very useful, especially because of the buff to counter hits on lights, like light kick and light punch. On punch on kicks, you'll be able to do either a crouch slash consistently, I think, after like a counter hit punch, which has already got a really good punch attack. So counter hit punch into 2S, I think will be a natural combo, which would be pretty good. Oh yeah, and then jump punches, whatever. That's always kind of the same of it. Jump D is a bit better as it hits further out. Better tool to copy a lot for jumping. Shitsu It's better in the corner now. You didn't really use it in the corner because it would just kind of fly away really fast. And now it's like Potemkin's super. It slows down and is a pretty good tool for that. So you get those knockdowns in the corner, you're going to see a lot more butterflies come out. Fujin, reduce recovery. So when you do a raw Fujin, you're not going to die for it, essentially. You can do raw Fujin and then just follow it up. If you want to follow it up, then you can, but I think you're A-okay. Charged Fujin is now increased attack level, so more frame advantage on it, and no longer launches opponent on grounded hit. So if you hit a charged Fujin, you'll get a guaranteed like Rin, I think. I think that's what the change is, because they talk about Rin a little bit later. We'll go over that. Shin Ishishiki, increased attack level. That, I believe, is the Phantos from Fujin, I think. Yeah, Phantos. So attack level, if your opponent lets you get away with it, then you can follow it up a little bit better and move forward, right? Especially if you do it like a knockdown to a meaty Shinishiki, you can keep it going, or if they let you do it in block stun, then you keep going and rocking it out. Nagiha, increased attack startup. It is now a little bit slower, so it's not going to be as good. There's more of a gap after Nagiha, which is the low, so you cannot just stay safe after a Fujin by doing it immediately at a set distance. Obviously, it's very unsafe, but it is something that's always been there for him, and now it's just like, hey, it's like the one nerf he gets. But then you get Rin. Rin is faster, less recovery, so it shouldn't be punishable in block. And leaves him closer, so easier to combo off of, and less wall break, so you get bigger damage from hitting it. I think this works in with the charged Fujin because it has a better attack level, so it's more hit stun, and Rin is faster. A charged Fujin, so if you hit a counter hit, so say you hit counter hit heavy into charged Fujin, boom, and then into Rin, I think that's going to be a guaranteed combo because of the faster startup and the attack level on charged Fujin. Ko, no longer hard knocks down. That's a typical combo ender. You cannot just do a hard knockdown with it. That was like a go-to combo ender, and it would set up like really good Oki. Well, would set up okay Oki for Anji. And then lastly, his super does more damage. Big whoop. That's the end of that chapter. But yeah, the grand scheme of things, people getting a little bit weaker, it helps them out, obviously. It raises them up. Better far slash will be useful because being able to use that more effectively and that it being able to go into Fujin is going to help a lot. But the biggest parts are just Fujin being a little bit safer and charged Fujin being a better combo tool on the ground is going to be really important because of the buffs to Rin. That's going to just work in tandem there, in my opinion. So we will see how that works out total, but I think it's just net positives for Anji. Nothing too crazy, same game plan, but Shitsu's going to be more effective, and Shitsu with Rin behind it is going to be more effective too because of just the combo potential is going to be better, and it's going to be a little bit trickier to block. Oh boy. Ino. 6 more to go. Air dash. I don't know how big this is until we see it in motion. Now she can adjust her trajectory with up or down. So when you air dash forward, you can go higher in the air, or you can go lower in the air to be a little bit trickier and spookier, right? And you can do the same with the backward air dash, where she floats backwards and she's flying in the air. Crouch P, faster startup, so you can do more just mashing out, which is nice. Same buffs to everybody else with all those things, but the crouch slash buff is nice because, again, this is something that's going to be useful if you hit those counter hit 2Ps or 2Ks. I think if we get counter hit 2P being faster into 2S is going to let her be able to do a little bit something after that, which is nice. Especially with 2S being a better hitbox on it, so a better counter poke. It was kind of, I think, lacking in that nature, but nice, not too bad. And your present scale is now easier to alter, so it's going to be a better Oki tool as well as be a better neutral tool, especially because now you can Roman cancel it and it appears and won't disappear if you Roman cancel early. But the air one is faster but has more recovery. So that's going to be a better, I think that's going to be the hard knockdown tool of choice, because when you get a hard knockdown with like Chemical Love, you'll be able to just do the antidepressant skill in the air, and then there'll be more recovery, so you can't just throw it out willy-nilly and get punished if you try to do it in neutral and you're not being careful about it. But if you throw it out, I mean, after the recovery, I'm sure you'll be able to air dash, and you'll be able to follow up that pressure, so it's going to be another like asset to her neutral that she could use instead of just relying only on Stroke to Victory. Chemical Love stays more active. That's a big boon for her, because that is, you know, a very important combo tool and a way of keeping people in check if they're being a little bit too antsy and neutral. Stroke to Big Tree. This is her nerf that she gets: increased recovery, but on hit more stagger and less knockback, so you stay closer. But now it's not. It should not be positive on block anymore. It should be your turn, not punishable. But she cannot just throw that out, undermine anything, and just get no. She can't just get neutral and keep it going. But if it hits, it's party time. That's what it feels like. Sultry Performance, the final hit during the active frames, now has the same properties regardless of the number of hits, and that is her dive, the Psycho Crusher. So when you cancel it with her little hop, even if you cancel it early, you'll get consistency from it because it always acts as the final hit, and that's like her big change. That's a positive buff for her, is now that she has that ability to go for that special more and cancel it early and be well off using it. And then lastly, Aerial Ultimate Fortissimo, she can no longer land as the move comes out. So I think that nerfs using it meaty. If you do it meaty and they block it, you're not still blocking it while she's going for an air dash afterwards. That's what it looks like. But yeah, Ino's honestly pretty much the same. I mean, I say that, I lie. Stroke to Big Tree Heavy being nerfed is huge because, again, that was the tool that they all really pushed so much. That was one of the strongest assets that she had because it was plus on block, and on a hit she got a lot of value out of it. Now she still gets a lot of value, but it's not a free, I'm in your face, you gotta hold this, block stun, and a mix-up afterwards. No. But, I mean, better buttons overall is always going to be good for anybody, and it's still a lot to see how the trajectory changes affect her and how the speed of the aerial and antidepressant scale is, but anything being faster, especially a tool like that didn't see a lot of use, can only be good, especially at a range when she's fighting characters that don't have a far range attack to stop her. She'll be able to use that at a distance and go fast because this is a move that the further it goes, the more blocks you're in. So, and the fact that you can also adjust the trajectory easier is going to make that stronger for her to basically say, hey, I'm full screen, I can throw this out, I am in your face now. Again, it's great. It's good. It's overall a lot of good buffs for her. But, you know, again, you got to use your brain. You can't just stroke that big tree, all right? You're going to keep this PG-13, all right? Finally, Goldlewis Dickinson. Good lord. Gold lord. We are now on hour 2 of talking, okay? I'm doing this for y'all, okay? I'm doing this for all of you. This is all the love. This is a great patch note breakdown. You can watch this at any time, even after the patch comes out, to understand how things affect the characters in the grand scheme of things, alright? I'm here for y'all. Alright, 6P. Lower hitbox. So now you can use that in neutral to beat out higher, normals that will hit you high and stuff them out, as well as in combos, because 6P is a command normal and you would combo into it. Those would be nice. Less recovery on a lot of his normals, so crouching K is going to be better. You can do more consistent 2K, 2D. Close slash, same thing as before. And now you have better hitboxes on stand heavy when he just puts the coffin down, and that's fine. And then stand in forward heavy, which you don't see a lot, where he like does the spin with the coffin, goes like party time. Movement speed is faster, increased movement speed, so it goes further out, and it maintains momentum. So if you run and do it, that's kind of cute. So, better pokes, because the character has always had to get, like, in your face to do stuff, so that just helps out certain buttons and makes it a little bit better for playing, like, the mid-range game, which is nice. Jump buttons, like, whatever. Thunderbird, the drone has gotten big buffs. Hell yeah, birthday train, let's go. Recovery now depends on security level, so I think on the higher security level, it'll recover probably faster because that's the one that you can follow up better. So you're rewarded for putting that out there. It remains to be seen. That's just a logical guess. Lower level, if you throw it out, there's more recovery and it's slower, doesn't go as far. Projectile is subject close to the corner. You can use it in the corner like you can use Shitsu, like you can use Gigantor. In the corner, if you knock somebody down, you put it out. It won't just zip past them and be ineffective. It's going to be like, okay, I'm in this proximity. I slow down. I get that pressure still. And it's great because they don't get knocked farther back if they get hit by it, so you get easier time to combo. And if it hits, it's a hard knockdown. So if it hits from a far distance, this is a projectile with a lot of stamina on it. No matter how it hits, it gets a hard knockdown. Goldlewis is in your ass. Like Ant-Man. Ants. And then remove the set distance when the opponent required for the final hit to connect, so it's going to be more consistent in hitting. Yeah, really good. Am I lying? Am I dumb? I could be dumb. Hold on. I think Skyfish is the... Yeah, it's Thunderbird, man. So Thunderbird is a very cute normal special now, even better than it was before. Because you see it sometimes, but I think it's going to be a lot more prevalent now. And the fact that it delays the timing of the security level reset, you can put that out and then just immediately go into Skyfish afterwards and get do the level 3 Thunderbird into level 1 Skyfish, and then just follow up after, because you put him in block stun, Thunderbird then puts him in block stun, and then Goldlewis just hauls ass. I feel like it's going to play out pretty well there. And Skyfish does the same, where security level reset is not as much. I think that's one that you really hold and use a lot of, so it's like whatever. But I mean, like I said, better buttons, and I think they're just betting on Thunderbird because like this is a character that does a lot of damage. His damage is not reduced, so if he hits you, it's going to hurt a lot. Behemoth Typhoon does the same thing as it always does, but just with better buttons, more opportunities to get hits. The big buff to Thunderbird is going to let him play neutral a lot stronger and let him approach. It's going to basically make him able to approach a lot better and safer if you do not call him out when he tries to Thunderbird. So that tool is going to be very scary and it's going to be a keystone of his game plan now, more so than it was before. Then last things is just like if you block down with the system, you land and can punish him, because if you jumped and he did that, his super where he just like you're like, oh, I'm all the way off in the sky, nothing I can do about it, even though you spent 50% attention and an invincible reversal. But it's still the same startup, so you still have to respect it. And then lastly, Burn It Down, which is the giant I-beam super. More attack levels and more blocks done, as well as reduced recovery, so he can follow it up better. So again, I think that's also going to be a big key part of his game plan, is just having that on a knockdown, burn it down, and then get, a lot of blocks done. A lot of blocks when you're going to be trapped in with Thunderbird, and you burn it down. So it's going to be able to really just keep it. You don't want to be in blocks against Goldlewis. You don't want to guess. So we'll see how that goes, especially now that he can dash cancel his close specials. Okay, we're almost there. Excuse me. Jacko, this is a lot. This is probably like next to Happy Chaos, the most like change. There's a lot on the DLC characters. They got a lot. That's crazy. I'm powering through though. 4 more to go. Increase gauge value at round start. So she can throw a minion and have a better. She has more time. She can basically throw a minion at round start essentially, without like any grievances, or she'll have more meters, so she won't like just be empty if she does it immediately. The buttons, of course, are just faster, less recovery. So just better normals, like most characters across the board. Her sweep, which is really good, now is faster. It comes out faster, so that's going to be they already did that button all the time. They already did 2D at all times. So now they're going to do even more. they're going to do 2D even more because it's just going to be that good. And now Jump D is now air dash cancelable, jump cancelable, and it's a special move, so which is nice because it's like the Kai buff. You know, it's a move that she can cancel into like the air, like soccer kick, and just allows more pressure and mix-ups, especially with the minions out. So that's going to be really strong. Okay, what else we got? Throw Servant, less recovery, so it's be easier to get a Servant out and be able to just toss Servants at people and just be pretty nice. Release Servant when you drop them, which is useful for pressure setups left rights. Made the timing attention gauge increase upon special activation faster, so you get your meter faster. It means easier time RCing when you use it and you get a hit for a mix-up. But also reduce recovery, so it's going to be a better tool when you drop the Servants during pressure, because you see a lot of it like doing like a knockdown into a Servant grab, jump over, drop, and now she'll be able to act faster and get more pressure off of that. So it's going to really enhance her mix-up game and just make her pressure just much stronger. Recover Servant, so pulling them back while lifting a Servant. Made tapping attention gauge, so you get some tension, which is nice. Attack command, reduced attack start and recovery, but you have the frame advantage. It just makes it so when you call the attack, it's faster, so it's people would have to be a little more careful about hitting the minion, because there's a better chance that the minion's going to hit them before they can hit them back, which is really nice. But when you have the Servant and you do attack command, you get more tension gauge, and attack command while lifting a Servant now deals damage. So when you tell it to attack, the minion's going to probably be like, yes, mom, while you're holding it. So it's going to be like, swatch. You're going to be like, go, honey. Control the neutral. Defend command, increase the time window when Servants can withstand attacks, and expands the Servant's hitbox. So it's going to be a much better tool because it wasn't really super useful because it caused like a clash where you're like, whoa, I didn't mean to hit you. But now it's going to be something that, especially with her close by, can be a call out and set her up to get something afterwards. I love this song. Countdown, just tension gauge is being helpful. Servant shoot, aka I think that's the kick. Increase active frame, reduce recovery. Yeah, it's the kick. So better. It's already negative 12 on block. But with reduce recovery, it's not going to be punishable, I don't think. Well, no, actually, no. No change to frame advantage. So it's still negative 12 on block. Okay. But when you do it, you're not going to be like punished as hard when you're just kicking minions. Okay. And then, let's see. Aerial Servant shoot. Reduce deceleration. So you're not going to stop as hard as she used to in the mid-air. But it's also going to be a better tool because it's going to hit better. Servants are now recover immediately upon activation. Oh, that's cool. I think that's her command grab super. So if you hit Forever Elysian Driver, the Servants come back and you'll get your gauge back. That's good. I like that. Because usually that sets you in a situation where the minions either have disappeared by that time. So it's just kind of really nice to have that baked into it. Alright. But yeah, I mean, as a whole, better. I mean, okay, better buttons is always great. The better sweep is going to be really tricky because now it's going to really check you running forward. And then just the minions as a whole are stronger. Not, like, I don't think, hopefully not too strong. When we reduce recovery of the attack command, it's kind of scary. But it at least makes it so if you don't hit the minion as it's coming towards you and you block it, I think it should be able to attack immediately and get a counter hit if you're trying to attack it back. We will see if that's the case, but that just makes it so when minions are set, you have to respect the minions just a little bit more, and especially with the defend command, it could be really, really good if it extends long enough that it can beat things out better. And then just, again, mixed with Jump D and having that available, better mix-ups, having the Servants, so it's going to add to her repertoire. Because she already had solid mix-ups with it. But now it's going to be it's just going to be a lot more high-low added on top of it, which is nice. No nerfs, honestly. Everything is pretty positive, so that's good. I mean, I think yeah, pretty good. But now we got nerfs. We got this character. We got everyone's favorite. If you don't play the game, he's your favorite character. If you do play the game, it's your least favorite character. Sometimes it's Happy Chaos. Whenever you see him, you're not anything but happy. You're anything but happy. Excuse me. Okay, concentration. The amount of concentration completed while readying the gun now varies depending on distance with the opponent. So I imagine, this is my assumption, the further you are away from your opponent while you're concentrating, when you're doing steady aim while readying the gun, is going to be more. The further you are away, the more concentration you lose. The closer you are, the less you lose, because you shouldn't be punished so badly. Crouch P is better, so it's buffs, like in line with most other people. Same with the crouching K and close slash. Far standing slash, less recovery, which is nice. Increased movement speed, so a better button, but increased knockback, so it's going to be harder to follow up. But it's still important to have for him to be able to counter poke people, because everyone else has better far slashes. If you don't change his, and now he's at the mercy of Axl, Anji, Kai, who all got good buffs, it's a little spooky. It's just a little spooky. Jump 2K is a little bit faster. Reduce recovery after connecting with the opponent, so you get if that connects and it hits, then you get something from it. It's a little bit better as a tool when that connects and works. Crouching S a little bit better too. So I mean, like I said, buffs just quality of life to a lot of the buttons there. Good for them. At the ready, so get the gun out, right? Less recovery, so it's a move that has a hit on it, and it hits you, you get into a juggle. So less recovery on it, so you probably get more after it comes out and it works out, right? But you get more damage scaling, so you're not going to lose all your life. You're not going to lose half your life immediately when you get hit by at the ready into shots. And increased combo blowback scaling, so I don't think you won't get you'll get weaker confirmed because they're going to be pushed out farther back. So it's just less damage, more pushback, weaker combos from it, because at this point, if you got hit by at the ready, you are guaranteed half your life gone. Fire. Hitbox not appears when Happy Chaos takes damage. Increased knockback. So when you get shot, if you hit him and he shoots you, you don't get shot. You stop the gun. Good for him. And then less damage during steady aim, which is also very important because the steady aim damage was too much. So I don't see you losing half life immediately by getting hit by at the ready. Steady aim, so when you have you're staying in one spot, you get your gun out right. Made attention timing, increase upon vision move faster, and you can cancel out of it faster. So you get out of the stance a little bit quicker, unless punished from it. Reload. Chaos now remains in counter state until the end of the animation, so if you hit him during reload animation, he dies. Then focus. Made the timing and attention good. Guess nothing really there. Roll is going to be better. It was used sparingly, but now it's going to be used a lot more because it's going to be faster and you can shoot faster, so your left-right mix-ups is stronger. Increase health depletion activation on Scapegoat. So throwing out a homie is weaker. Properties now vary when activated at low health, so it might not last as long if you do it at low health, because when you're at low health, there was no reason not to do it. When you had like a pixel, magic pixel left with Happy Chaos, he always did Scapegoat, and it was just the same thing always. So it's like, at this point, it's pretty good. I like the change to that because it should, like in Pokemon, when you use Substitute at low life, you shouldn't get a full powered Substitute. It should be weak as hell. So that's what it looks like is the case here. And then Curse, this is another huge one. This is big. Curse leaves if you hit Happy Chaos. If you're lucky enough to hit Happy Chaos while you're cursed, you are no longer cursed. Thank goodness. That is actually that is a big one. Because you hit Happy Chaos while you're cursed and you tagged him and he shot you, you were dead, right? Because you remember how it is, right? If you, oh my goodness. Happy Chaos shoots you the projectile doesn't go away, the curse doesn't go away. You trade, he's winner chicken dinner. He just got first place at the county fair, getting that shot off. So it makes dealing with him a lot better because you are rewarded for hitting him when when the momentum is in his favor. When Happy Chaos has a curse out, when he shoots you, you are better served taking trades with him. And being able to take less damage is big because for the range he plays at and how safe he can be and how much pressure you're under, it's crazy. And the FD change helps a lot too. When you FD things, you lose less FD, you'll have more meter to be able to avoid being chipped out. So the system changes really help out against him as well. Again, he's gotten buffs with the normals being buffed, as well as the close slash buffs into dash cancels, etc. But with those little things like that, and like the burst safe combos not being as potent because higher bursts will stay a little bit lower and be able to tag him a little easier. So a lot more manageable, but still does what he does best. Still going to be able to get a curse off at full screen, force you to block, get the chip damage out. It's just if he gets a hit, you're not like, well, shit, I'm dead. Immediately, you'll last a little bit longer, but his core game plan is still the same. It's just when you're actually being able to fight him and you're actually in a rage where you can fight him, you're like, cool, kid. You're happy. Honestly, you're in this position where it's like it's not too bad. So it'd be nice when you have to fight him and how you deal with him. So it's just one of those things to think about, and just getting a character that's just like very unique and is very, very, very potent at his game plan, but now his game plan is just weaker and has to get more hits to make it count and doesn't win off trades. That is a Happy Kiyasu. Still a threat, but it's not like invalidating half the cast. Alright, 2 more to go. Home stretch. Baiken. No Baiken. No can buy. Alright, the usual attack startup change, increased knockback. Momentum now remains when canceled, so when you do forward kick, she keeps going with the big boot that beats throws. Like other characters, far standing slash, reduce startup and less hurt box, so it's a better mid-range poke. And then crouching slash, reduce recovery, reduce frontal hit box, so just better pokes in general. Crouching heavy slash got nerfed. Doesn't have as far a range because that was one of her best buttons, something that you just always use all the time. Now you can't really use it as egregiously. You have to be more thought into it. And you can hit her out of it better because it now has a upper. If you jump at her and she whiffs and you jump in on her, you'll pretty much guarantee to hit her. Okay. So I mean that's good. It's always not just net positives. There's got to be some negatives here and there and everywhere. So that's a button that they just like, let's tone that down. You can't make her just adept at everything and then just have that tool as well. Jump, punch, jump, kick. Okay, Tamagaishi. This is a change to the motion. If you do the Tamagaishi on the ground and you press up accidentally, you'll still get the grounded version. But it also has a better hitbox at the front of it, so it's a better tool in neutral and it's a little bit stronger. That's always cool. El Tamagaishi, expanded back hurt box, protector and descent. So if they get under her, it'll still hit as it falls down. So that's always good. Kabari, that's the chain. Activates even after upwards input, because again, there's another move, Yozansen, which is another input that can accidentally come out if you do Kobari and you accidentally press up. So now the chance of that happening, you get Kobari instead, be more consistent there. So more startup on it, but less recovery and more knockback. On grounded hit, this tether no longer pulls the opponent in during animation, so you're not immediately just close to each other on grounded hit. But since it can be so strong, it's just going to have more delay and less recovery. So if you whiff it, it's not as bad, but you can't just throw it out as hard. So they're kind of toning that down because they're playing cautious. This is a character that with better normals and potential for setting up like this crazy setup and pressure, they want to make sure that the strength of her being point and blank won't be as strong, and her ability to force you into a point blank situation is also not going to be as strong. It's just kind of like a natural procession of things, which is interesting nevertheless, but it works out, I guess. Kabari, the heavy version, the follow-up, which is the stab. So Kabari, the heavy version, nothing crazy. That's just quality of life stuff. Heavy version follow-up now triggers counter hit effects. So if it hits on counter hit, you get a little bonus. What is that bonus? I don't know. Well, I mean, it's something at least, right? Expand on lower hitbox, so you can't low profile it. No longer in counter hit state. Okay, that's good. So like I said, big quality of life. Increase recovery on block. So I don't think. Well, let's see. What is on block right now? That's an interesting one to consider. The Kabari or block -3. So it's going to be punishable on block. It is a combo tool. It is a 50-50 tool. Because you use Kabari by itself, it's -3, but if you do the follow-up and you're forcing your opponent to do a guessing game with a frame trap, if they block it, it looks like they're guaranteed to punish. Yozansen, less landing recovery, increased damage, so more reward for doing it, better follow-ups afterwards. Hiragi, that's going to be the counter. Reduced recovery after successful parry. Okay, as well as unsuccessful. So less recovery when you use it, but if it actually hits, you get a setup afterwards. So you're rewarded after the hard knockdown. And last but not least, Surane Sanzu Watashi, the Crescent Super. If you block it, it's no longer a good reversal, as strong of a reversal. And if you block it in midair, you can punish her instead of getting knocked away full screen. So again, this is her being stronger, like giving her some life here, because again, the Zansen being stronger makes her mix-up more potent. The Kabari Heavy Slash, you get a reward on counter hit now, and on regular hit you still get the knockdown, which is always nice. Kabari itself, the Slash version is weaker, or at least weaker in the sense of like reduced recovery. So if the opponent lets it come out, then you're rewarded with getting the tether, right? But it's not going to be like not going to be as easy to do so. Then Tatami just being buffed is always good too. So just quality of life all around. Not a bad character. I think she's in like a mid spot like Axl, but this is going to put her to be able to fight better, and just it really improves her game plan overall with being able to use the Tatamis and pressure, as well as the Oki is going to be stronger from it as well. And then you set up the Yozansen mix-ups, which will be more rewarded. Just really, really good. And finally, we go to Testament. So this one I might need help with, because I don't know all of Testament's new move names by heart. Unfortunately, how dare I not know all that? So Crow, fixable with a crow would sometimes not behave as intended after a wall break sequence. Okay, remains to be seen. Maybe just like spazzed out. Air dash, shorter air dash. So not as long as an air dash, so that's fine. I mean, if you air dash in this game and you get punished for air dashing, now it's going to be a little bit harder to do so. You just have to make sure you don't do it from as far away. Lower hurt box is something that disappear at the instant of a landing. So that's a bug. That's funny. It's a literal bug where if Testament landed, you could not break their ankles. Okay. Then usual, reduce recovery on stand K, crouching K to reduce knockback, so 2K, 2D is more consistent, which is nice. And faster too, which is really good. I mean, by itself, it was normally, 2K was 7 frame startup, so it's probably like 6 frames or 5 frames, which is really good. Close standing S, reduce recovery, so that's always going to be nice. And even Heavy Slash. So all of the buttons got better. Even forward Heavy Slash, which is the giant sickle hook. reduced startup, so it's a lot faster. I mean, that was a kind of a slow startup move and hard to use consistently in combos. It was 25 frame startup, so now it's going to be a lot better, especially when you do 5k 6h. It's going to be more consistent, so that helps their combo routes a lot. Plus it's a ground bounce, so you're guaranteed a follow-up, typically a follow-up afterwards, which is nice. Jump P, jump K, jump S, that's always nice. Grave Reaper, which is the projectile. You won't accidentally get the air version if you accidentally press up, which is nice. And then the Succubus, that is where you launch the Crow. When you send the Crow out, stays out longer, so you have more time to throw out Unholy Diver. Which is really good, because the Succubus didn't stay out very long. So having that, it's going to make it better when you get a sexual, when you make the block of projectiles safer, and you can mix up the timing of when you do Holy Diver a little bit more. Grounded Grave Reaper, expanded frontal hitbox and hurtbox of the strike. So the actual hit part of it, because it's 2 hits, it's the scythe hit and then the projectile skull hitting, right? Now it hits from further out, but if you try to do that strike from closer, you can get counterpoked. You can get counterpoked for trying to throw it out. The initial part of it, your hurtbox will extend, and you can hit Testament out of it. But in pressure strings, you can use it more consistently, because if the FD, it'll reach out further and put them in blocks and keep you safer. I mean, how much safer, it's hard to say. Grave Reaper, I mean, he's only -4 on block, so it is pretty safe on its own. Heavy Slash version, which is the anti-air one, the air version, expand on lower hitbox of the projectile as it comes out, so it's going to hit more consistent, which is nice because it's really useful. It's mainly a big combo tool. And then back hitbox is larger, so it looks like when you throw it out, it's going to be harder to jump over because it's going to have that there. And then less startup on Heavy Slash version, so this makes the combo game. This is affecting the combo game. Heavy Slash is the combo filler when you hit like 2 close slash, 2 heavy slash into the launch, into Heavy Slash Grave Reaper. Because it has less startup, it's going to connect more consistently, which will be useful because typically you do the first hit and then you're charging. So you hit him, it's faster to come out, your charge will be faster, you'll get the skull going up, which is the charge version, will hit them, pop, and you get the juggle from it. So that's going to be really, really useful. Really, really good. So that's going to make, again, combos a lot more consistent for them. And also just throwing it out as an anti-air, as a preemptive anti-air is going to be really good because it's just faster startup. Okay, Unholy Diver, basically throwing out the Crow. Launches opponent higher with decreased horizontal, so just if you get a hit, it goes a little higher if they're airborne. Increase active frames after Succubus transformation. Expanded hitbox after Succubus transformation, so... let me see what's going on. It says, the Crow will now always fly forward in a straight line when the button is held, even if a Succubus is on screen. Okay, interesting. So if you do your Grave Reaper and the Succubus is out there, and you can still if you want do the anti-air Crow, which is great because somebody else, Succubus is here, Unholy Diver is going to go down normally, it's going to go forward for an anti-air if they try to like do an instant air dash. So it makes it's good. It enhances how that is, which is really smart. If Unholy Diver is activated without Succubus active, the Crow will curve back towards the default position. Degree from default height will curve downwards. Okay. Not too sure what we get from that's when it hits the Succubus and does a transformation. It's gonna be a little bit better, which is nice. It stays out longer and it has a bigger hitbox. Possession. That's a teleport. now activates. Okay, so you don't accidentally mess it up and get a because it's 214K, which isn't another special move, but you might accidentally Tiger Knee it, so you're fine. Arbiter Sign, less recovery, because that's negative 21, so that's good. And finally, initial hit now bounces the opponent higher with decreased knockback, and that's the Nostrovia, the Succubus Super. Calamity 1 is more punishable now. So again, big quality of life. Combo potential is a lot better. The aspect of shooting out Unholy Diver and having that be able to just be a better trap tool, and also having the ability to shoot the crow straight forward even if a Succubus is out. Good. Like, quality of life is really, really good. And the combo is going to be stronger because of just having a faster forward heavy slash is really important. So that's going to be really nice. And then less recovery on close standing slash will make, I think, close standing slash into 2 heavy. Yeah, I mean, it's just a cancel, so it's not going to really affect it. I don't think it's not going to be anything crazy. But you also have a better far slash. So just buttons are better. Combo potential is a lot more consistent, and that's like a tricky part because of just how much it depends on where the Succubuses are, where your hit was, and how much charge you could get off of a Grave Reaper. And then the Succubus running out longer just makes Unholy Diver more potent, and that just adds to the mid-range zoning, far-range zoning game that Testament can play and set up. It basically sets up better traps because they don't have the traps like the old games, right? So these attack techniques allow them to just control that space, control how their opponents approach more consistently because they're trying to avoid the Succubus. They'll get hit by the Unholy Diver if they try to jump, and they'll still get the Stain State, and it just really rounds out Testament's toolkit extremely well. And with that is everybody. That is the patch. That is the advanced break Raphnalysis. 2 hours and 45 minutes later, we're finished. I hope you all enjoy and get a good glimpse of what the future is in store. Look forward to all the videos of all the changes coming soon too, but use this tool as much as you like to understand all of the characters' changes and how it's going to look going forward, because I imagine it's going to be a good 6 months before we see any big changes unless a character is too strong, or if a new character comes out and it requires more quality of life stuff. But for now, I appreciate y'all watching. You made it to the end of the video. I applaud you. Oh, goodness, you are brave warriors just like I am. I should timestamp this, but I'm a dummy, and I will have to do that after the fact. I'll definitely make timestamps for all the characters. If anything, thank y'all for tuning in. Please subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Raph_TX, and give the video a like. This took almost 3 hours of my time sitting here just chit-chatting. It was fun, but oh my god. Whew. Anyway, be well, be safe, and keep on rocking. Wee!